oatmeal butter down.
C sharp C sharp C sharp C sharp C sharp D A sharp A G.
Good evening, 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 and welcome to game night on Tuesday, the 28th of June. How are you all doing? Today, obligatory, let's play the thing. Oh, hello. Not before I had a message from our sponsor, Puzzle Dan.
Good EEEEBENING. Time once again to enter Quiz Prison #Quiz Prison.
Thank you very much for the 14-month resub there, Puzzle Dan. Very grateful to you. Oh my god, all the things are happening. Message from, no message there, but David gifting out a sub there too. Oh blimey, what, let's catch up. David gifting out a sub to whoever David gifted out a sub to. Thank you very much for that sub, David. Who did it go to? Everything is playing catch up. I wasn't sure if notifications were working. It looks like they are. Dante as well, thank you very much for the 16-month resub. And Sapster, thank you for that gifted sub to Quizzle83. Quizzle, welcome on in. To Dari, thank you for the 100 bits. I'm going to play your 100 bits now. I'm not quite sure what that is, but thank you very much all the same to Direct. A message from our sponsor, Topper. No, Topper just resubbing there for... Oh, David gifting out a sub to Topper1 Gaming. David, slow down with the gift subs. I can't keep up with everything. Thank you very much indeed for the support, Topper. Welcome on in. I see your DM, Topper. I'll look at it post-stream. I am... it's the Escape Artist, by the way. Come play. Something like that. Notes to that general effect. Very grateful all the same to Dari. Thank you very much. Cards on the table. I am feeling pretty out of it today. I went for a run this morning. I got some new running shoes, and I got about 20 minutes in, and I just had this really annoying pain at the sort of top left of my glutes. And I had to sort of stop and press it, and I could only get little 5-minute bursts. Apparently, it takes a little while for running shoes to be worn in. After that, I spent pretty much the whole day either writing for the Uniconnect Daily Pack or proofing for tonight, so I'm just sort of a little bit fried. And then I stepped on something in the garden. I think I've got a splinter in my foot, so it's quite painful. It's also very hot in here, because I haven't opened the bloody window. Why haven't I done that? And of course I'm wearing a light grey t-shirt, which is perfect for demonstrating exactly how hot it is in this room. So I will try and avoid doing on stream. So if I'm pain in your mummy, something like that. Anyway, thank you for kicking off that hype train. But yeah, I'm all aches and pains at the moment. But anyway, we'll still have a good time. We've got the Escape Artists, we've got Face Off later on, we've got the Hive after that. Well done to Mark on getting the high score on Wordle just before that. Oh, hello, new people coming to join the game. 29 players in so far, welcome, welcome. It is the Escape Artist. It's written by Brian, who made his debut as a writer about 2 weeks ago with The Purge. Very, very nice debut pack. Here's another one from him in the shape of the Escape Artist. Oh, and a message from our sponsor, Fired.
Shoobetty doobetty shoobetty doobetty bop a doo wow bump.
Something like that. Thank you very much for the 5-month subscription there, Fired. Very, very grateful to you. And here comes another message from our sponsor, Digital David.
Much good vibes.
Much good vibes. I send you good vibes as we come into Quiz Prison for another round of the Escape Artist. Nice little pack from Brian here. It had a few tweaks from me. I've proofed both of the packs for today. A few little tweaks here and there, but broadly really solid questions as has come to be expected after his Purge debut. So I think you'll enjoy this. Let me say good evening to you all. Good evening to Mark and Garrett, Colo, Samster, ABMe, Arun, Shapes, Tau AF, Topper, to Daru, Brian, Dogfish, Effrontery Jack, Zeus, Ramsey, Dante, Idle, Withy, Puzzle Dan, Digital David, good evening, Innis, Quizzle, Sotley, Energy, Derek, Lupine, Oni, Lewis, BC, Two, Fired, The Trudel, and anyone else who is lurking, loitering, and lingering in the chat. You are most welcome to be here. And holy cow, Brian with the 1,500 bits. Brian, that's incredibly generous of you. Thank you very much for the support there. Super, super kind. Thank you so much. Brian with the 1,500 bits and kicking that hype train. I haven't had a hype train go this high for a while. Much appreciated. We'll let the hype train do its thing before we kick off the game. Yeah, cool guy. That's right, Topper. Anyway, I hope everyone as well. Let me stop that bonus. I'm just so fried today. I need to take a day off because I did 3 miles, 3 and a bit miles on Sunday afternoon, and it was hot as well. And then I did 3 miles this morning, and I think this is my body going, no, don't do this much exercise, it's not good for you. I think it probably is good for me, but in the long run. But today it's something like I would quite like to sit and stand at the same time. Anyway, if you did see the message in the Discord server, which if you're not in, you could come and get in. Yeah, part run, I wanted to do it a few weeks ago, but it was just an inconvenient weekend. I am planning on doing one in the next couple of weeks at some point, David. I'd quite like to do a park run, yeah. It would be a good achievement to do. What is exercise and type of quiz? Just a sort of runny, jumpy thing, Arun. What was I saying? Season 8 details are going to be coming out this week, and also pack requests. So if you wanted to write some questions for some of the games that we play here on Game Night for Season 8, which is going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to run from sort of sometime in August to sort of the middle of October. But again, details will be coming out this week. Do keep your eye on the Discord. Oh, sorry, I'm just completely fried. I'm not ill. I'm just like, ugh, like frazzled is probably the word I'd use to describe it. Frazzled. It's the Olympics. Ben did the Olympics. Yeah, I did the Olympics. I did, Ramsey. Good to see you. Hope you're well. It's a weird round of the Crypto Factor. Yeah, the strange one that no one liked. Anyway, I'm going to give you another minute to come join this game, and then we'll get underway. The escape artist by Brian. There can only be one winner, unless there is an exact tie. It's never happened before. It is possible to have no winners, of course. Such is the way this game works. But we have got 30 questions written and ready for you. Like I say, face off after that is going to be one you want your popcorn for, and then a little bit later on we have got the other thing. The Hive. The Hive by Bitter Otter, aka Shy Wolf Ghost. Again, another sort of early stages writer, I think only the second pack for the channel. So we've got some newish writers in tonight who've already proven themselves quite handy over their earlier packs, and hoping they can do the same tonight. I will say the Hive pack a bit later on, it's a little bit tricky, but it should be a lot of fun all the same. There's some very well thought through questions which should generate quite a bit of discussion, which I'm looking forward to. Right. You say that, David. Quiz very quickly tonight. Mrs. F and I have actually got to go and do grown-up chats in the pool room over pool and gin. Well, she'll have gin. I'll stick with beer later on. Just about house stuff and house stuff and rent stuff and landlord stuff and selling stuff. It's all a bit up in the air at the moment, and a little bit bleh. So I'm only here to deglaze the bottom of the pot. Good-o. Right, I think that's long enough. And you're listening, what, for this season, Ralph? For this season, it'd be... Was it the one for the 5th of July? Probably the 4th of July. 4th of July, realistically, because if it's a Saturday, which I think it is, I'll proof it on the day anyway. Is it Saturday? No, it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, then I'll almost certainly proof it on the... I can proof it on the day, can be around to... Oh, hello, Panda. Welcome in. Welcome on in the nick of time. I think that's going to be enough with 30 players here. Let's get this game underway. It's the Escape Artist. It's been written by Brian, and I'll give it one more round. One more camera pan. One more camera pan. And then we are going to lock you in. Okay, 30 players all lined up ready to play Quiz Prison. It is just after 8:20. Let's play the Escape Artist and let's lock you in. No, thank you, Siri. Apparently Siri thought I said, is Prison 80s just after 8:20? I didn't say that. And thank you for completing that level 3 hype train, you lovely people, you. Very much appreciate the support. Level 2 completed hype train. So, this is round 1. It's called Initiate. In this round, you've got to answer 5 questions, exactly 5 questions, and once you do, you can't answer any more. For every life, the green lights in front of you, you've got left at the end of the round will give you a bonus point. Get a question wrong, you lose a life. You run out of lives, you are eliminated immediately and permanently from the game. If you get yourself into a position where there aren't enough questions left for you to get 5, i.e. you need 5 and there are only 4 left, you will be eliminated permanently and immediately from the game. Question values are represented up there in the top left-hand corner. and they're roughly indicative of the difficulty of the questions. So the 10-pointer is the hardest, and the 1-pointer is the easiest. There goes the theory. I can, of course, overwrite if the computer says no. That's about the level of it. So strategy here is, how many questions do you want to risk? Do you want to risk for the higher points? You've got quite a few high points earlier on, and a couple of, certainly at least 2 easy ones in the last 3, the 3-pointer and the 1-pointer, and maybe the 5. So you've got to decide which 5 you want to play, but remember, once you've answered 5, you cannot answer any more, but you also want to maximise as many points as you can get, because they do carry over into the next round, as well as a bonus point if you've got any lives left. Good luck to you all, and this is The Escape Artist as written by Brian. Round 1 is Initiate, and question 1 is for 4 points. Have a look at this. Which two fabled individuals allegedly founded the city of Rome? Well answered question there. 24 out of 30 giving it a go. Other people either not knowing or wanting to wait for more valuable points later on. The correct answer is Romulus and Remus. Tadaru saying no idea. Remember, you don't have to play. That's probably something I should have said in the opening spiel. Yeah, you don't have to play. You can tactically wait for more valuable questions. If you don't know, don't guess, because if it's wrong, you lose a life. But if you abstain, there is no penalty. Okay, to you about 2 seconds later. Yeah, Romulus and Remus, everyone there, but Tadaru giving me some variation on the correct answer. Very well played. Let's let you back up. 4 points and 1 step closer to escaping the round. Question number 2 is worth 7 points. In theory, a little bit harder. Let's see what you make of this. Question number 2. Chinese-American architect Ian Pei designed which distinctive French landmark? For 7 points. 22 players. This one does have a particularly specific answer. Panda, that was received out of time, and you're going to be very grateful that it was. If you said the Louvre, I'm afraid I'm not going to condone it, because that's been there a while. You needed to say the Louvre Pyramid, specifically the pyramid, not the Louvre. We have got a few variants there that I can accept. Lupin, unfortunately, I can't accept Louvre. Pyramid outside the Louvre, I can accept Innis. Let me condone that. Glass pyramid at the Louvre from Shapes, yes, we can accept that. That's fine. Louvre on its own, maybe me, I can't accept. The Louvre Museum Pyramid, yes, you've got the word pyramid in there, fine, I can accept that. I'd rather do this, condone a few answers, than let an incorrect answer slip by. Louvre Museum Entrance, yeah, close enough for me, Cyclespace. It's not specifically the Louvre. You have been specific about what you're referring to there. Certainly not the Eiffel Tower, not the Louvre on its own, not the Eiffel Tower. Pyramid entrance to the Louvre, yes, Quizzle, we can accept that as well. Quizzle. Ping. Yes, the Louvre has been there a long time, sort of 16th century. Certainly wasn't designed by Ian Pei in the 1980s. Those are the points. Those are all the ones we're given out. Nothing for Eiffel Tower, nothing for Louvre. Let's let you back up. Question number 3, 9-pointer coming in here. Have a good read of this question. It's a lengthier question, but let's see if you can get to the answer. Question number 3 for 9 points. The statement, for an integer n greater than 2, the equation a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n has no positive integer solutions, is commonly known as what? 9 points available. "15 players attempting that, just exactly half of the pack. The correct answer was Fermat's last theorem, or Fermat's conjecture. Pythagoras inequality. Is that an alternate name? I don't know if that's something different. I am going to have to double check that one. I think it's probably not right. Pythagorean inequality theorem. If the square of the longest side is less than the sum of the squares of the other two short sides, then the triangle is a cube. No, that's a different theorem, I'm afraid, Tadaru. Fermat, the Goldbach conjecture I can't accept. Fermat's theorem, Energia. I mean, it's Fermat's conjecture or Fermat's last theorem. If he's got other theorems, then I probably won't be able to accept that. Yeah, he's got one called Fermat's little theorem, which is, says if p is a prime number, then for any integer a, the number a to the power p minus a is an integer multiple of p. Yes, he has got a little theorem as well. He had many theorems. Unfortunately, I don't think I can accept that. It was a 9-point question, so I am going to be a little bit more ruthless on that. Unfortunately, that's going to be a lost life for you, Energia. Likewise, Tadaru, and likewise, Arun. Yes, indeed.
Pain.
Pain for you. Unfortunately, that's a wrong answer. But well done if you did get me that. Give me that rather. 9 points. Let's light you back up. So, no one yet won away because we've only had 3 questions. No one yet requiring all of them. We have got Tadaru on his last life there, so do be careful, Tadaru. One more wrong answer, you will be eliminated from the game. Question number 4 is worth 6 points if you give me a correct answer. Let me just go back to my notes. And here is question number 4. 4 is worth 6. Yes. In which children's novel would you find the chapters Before Breakfast, Wilbur's Boast, and Bad News? $20 out of 30 giving this a go. 2/3 think they know the answer. The correct answer is Charlotte's Web, Babe and the Sheep Pig, 2 variations on the same novel, but unfortunately not the correct answer. Yes, Before Breakfast is the first chapter. Wilbur's Boast, Wilbur, one of the main characters there, and Bad News is a later on chapter. But yes, Charlotte's Web is the answer we wanted. Plenty of green going up at there. Very well done if you got that. No one being eliminated here, though, so let's light you back up. As we go to question number 5, Innes and Itzotli are 1 away, both on 26, answered all 4 of the first 4 questions. Not a bad haul. Next one's worth 2 points. They may or may not give it a go. They may wait for some of the trickier ones later on. No one yet requiring all, and Tadaru is still the only player on the last life. Yes, the other pig book. Question number 5 is worth 2 points, one of the easier ones of the lot. Take a look at this. Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain on which continent? 2 points. Just 12 players attempting this one. Maybe hope for some easy points. The correct answer is Africa. Oh, Topper going for Asia. Asia is not the right answer, unfortunately. That would be the highest mountain in Asia is Mount Everest, which is the highest mountain in the world. Africa from Arun Aromatics there. I will condone that, Arun, because I can see what you're getting at there. And also, that is a great song. Oh, that's the wrong key. What's that? What does it finish on? I'll come back to that. I'm going to play that in a minute. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the piano. Anyone due for elimination? No one yet, so let's light you back up. Africa was the answer that we wanted. If you're 1 away, Arun, Ramsey, Innes, and Itzotli, 1 more correct answer, and you're through to the next round. Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like a limp. I did a 4-part arrangement of that. 4 or 8-part arrangement of that during lockdown. It was fun. No one yet requiring all, so that means everyone has got at least 1 point so far. Still just Tadaru on the last life. That's it. I've got it. There we go, figured it out. Right, I'm happy now, I can move on. Right, so let's do that now and move on, Ben. Now I've got it out of my system. Question number 6 is worth 8 points again, one of the harder ones here. Hello, Claire, welcome to the stream, and also David, welcome to the stream. Great to have you both with us. Question number 6, worth 8 points. Take a look at this. The NBA team based in Memphis are named after which specific breed of animal? $17 out of 30 attempting this. Think you know your NBA. The correct answer is it's the grizzly bear. I will not accept bear on its own. I did specifically say what specific, and they are the Memphis Grizzlies. I will not accept bear. Unfortunately, it's in RTF Cube over there, Lupine. Bad luck. Tigers also incorrect. Bear incorrect, and Tigers incorrect. Unfortunately, Tadaru, that was your last life. That is an incorrect answer, and I'm afraid at this early stage it is the end of the road, and it's lights out. Just checking everything else. Grizzly or grizzlies, grizzly bears. Yes, lights out. Ramsey Fox becomes the first player to escape into round 2. Very well played. Well done there. 29 points. Plus, you've got all 3 lives intact, so that will go up to 32. Well played, Ramsey. We'll see you in round 2. You won't be able to answer any more questions in this round. If you want away, lots of players want away at this point. 14 players require 1 more correct answer. They've got a 10, a 3, a 1, or a 5 to choose from. If you require all of them, Topper and Dan, you've got to get all 4 of the remaining questions to 10, 3, 1, and 5. Best of luck to you on that front. And Lupine and Topper also on your last life, so do tread carefully. Question number 7 is the hardest one of the lot. It is worth 10 points. Take a look at this. Which Pennsylvania university means new settlement in Latin? Bit of a difficulty spike at the end. It is, yeah, it's one of those ones. It is a sort of language question as well as a geography question, so I kind of liked it for that reason. Just 6 players attempting it. The correct answer was Villanova. Very well done if you did manage to work that out from the derivations of the word. Yes, Villanova University in Pennsylvania. The answer on this card, Notre Dame and New Haven. Good thought there, Sarcaspace, but not the one. Sadly, it does mean we have to say goodbye to Topper, for whom it is impossible to escape, and for Puzzle Dan, for whom it is also impossible to escape. Thank you very much for playing, but I'm afraid it is the end of the road, and it's lights out. Mark and Fire join Ramsey Fox in escaping into the next round. Fire currently with the lead on 38. Going to go up to 40 when those lives are added on. Very well played. If you run away, still lots of players. 13 players need 1 of the last 3 questions. Are they going to take it when they see the 3? Are they going to play it safe on the 1? Or are they going to wait for the 5? Interesting layout of the questions here. We'll have to wait and see. If you require all 3 of them, quite a few, 6 players requiring all 3, but they are on the easier side of the cards, so still got a good chance of getting through here. And if you're on your last life, Lupine and BC, do tread carefully, because 1 more wrong answer and you will be eliminated. Right, sorry, I was checking a message over there. Right, question number 8 is worth 3 points. Take a look at this. What is the predominant meat in the French classic coq au vin? It's 21 out of 24, just 3 players sitting this one out. The correct answer is... it is chicken. Panda going for goat. It is not goat. Coq au vin. Chicken in wine. Yes, thank you very much, Topper. Order! Goat is not the right answer, Panda. I'm afraid you are going to lose a life on that one. No one due for elimination, though. Very well done, everyone else who gave me a right answer. Lots of blue lights going there. Let's light you back up. So, we've got 13 players through to the next round. Arun, Mark, Zeus, Ramsey, Innes, Itsotley, David, Lewis, Toot, Fired, Oni, Samster, and Quizzle. If you require 1 from 2, you're flashing now. 7 players, requiring 1 more answer. If you require both of the remaining answers, that's another 7 of you. The other 7, only 14 players left. 7 requiring both and 7 requiring 1. Tread carefully if you're on your last life, BC and Lupine still. This next question is worth 1 point. Should be the easiest of the lot. Good luck. Take a look at it. The word Charlie represents which letter in the NATO phonetic alphabet? 10 players attempting this one, so 4 players are going to either be eliminated here or are going to wait for the last question. The correct answer is C. Jack Wilfred. Yes, that is technically correct. You just wanted me to press the condone button. There you go. Have it. I don't know why I had to be specific there. So it's going to take me hairband out. My ears are doing ear things. Yes, the letter C, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Very well done. If you gave me a correct answer there, let's light you back up. Ida Withy, unfortunately, I didn't say, but it is the end of the road and it's lights out. Must have not had an answer from you, but unfortunately, you have been eliminated from the game. Thank you very much for playing. So, question 10, it's worth 5 points. We've still got 9 players in live play. All of you are requiring the correct answer to this final 5-point question. Oh no, did it not? Oh, why do we? Oh, that's such a shame when it gets eaten like that. Oh, sorry about you. Certainly weren't red. If you had been red, it would have caught my eye. And if it just been a sort of like a Jack thing there, where he's added extra the letter Kilimanjaro. Yeah, sometimes the bot does do eaty things. I don't have a log here at all, which means I can't even tell you that it was out of time. It must have just been eaten by the bot. Apologies for that, Idlewithy, but thank you very much for playing. So, question number 10. It is worth 5 points. If you're orange, you've got to give me a correct answer to this. Good luck. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. P for brew. The Battle of Midway took place during which war? Hello, Scorecount. Welcome to the stream, my dude. Need 4 more answers. 2 more. Panda? The middle path decisioning, but that was received out of time. It was the wrong answer anyway. I will forewarn you, there may be a few answers that I need to condone here for reasons I'll explain in just a moment. The correct answer is World War II. Well then, if you did give me WW2. The reason I'm going to have to manually condone these is something I discovered early on. This was the only variant I allowed for this question. You couldn't have typed World War II, the actual words, like Tau AF has done, because if you'd typed World War I, it would have condoned it and flagged it as correct. So this is one of those questions, whenever the answer is World War something, this is one of the questions you've got to be really careful about, because it's long enough that just getting the number wrong doesn't affect the answer. So for that reason, but I can manually condone, and especially as it's the last question, I'd rather be able to go around and manually condone, or World War II, possibly. I'd rather have to go around and manually condone than let you get through on a wrong answer. So, Derek saying World War II. That is correct. US Civil War is not correct, ABME. Tau AF, World War II. That is correct. David, WW2. That is correct. American Civil War, Jack, I'm afraid, is not the right answer. Colo, WW2. Correct. Garrett going for American Civil War. Unfortunately, not the right answer. So that is the end of round 1. It's not type in the chat like unfortunately for Panda, ABME, Jack, and Odd Garrett, it is now impossible for you to escape. Thank you very much for playing, but it is the end of the road, and it's lights out. So we started with 30, and after round 1, 8 players have been eliminated. 22 go on to round 2 of the escape artist. For every life you have now, we will give you an extra point, and then give you 3 brand new lives. Let's go to round 2. This is my little dog yapping at. If my wife's using the Hoover or something. Anyway. Round 2 is sustain. You're a target. You are a target fired. In this round, every question is worth 5 points. You get another 10 questions. The objective is to hit the target of 55. That's calculated by the highest scoring player plus 15. So that would be fired on 40 plus 15, because it means even the highest scoring player must get at least 3 questions right to hit the target of 55. The fewer points you have, the more questions you need to answer. As before, if it becomes mathematically impossible for you to hit that target from the remaining questions, you will be eliminated. If you run out of lives, you will be eliminated. For every life you have got left intact at the end of the round, you get a bonus 2 points. However, once you have hit the target of 55, you can, unlike the previous round, continue to answer questions to extend your lead. But remember, you can still be eliminated even after you have hit that target, so do be careful. Will you excuse me 1 minute? I'm just going to see what the problem is with the dog. Oh, it's just the Hoover. It's just the vacuum. I hate you, Mr. Hoover. Go away. I hate you. You make me very frightened. Anyway, that's how our dog talks. So, round 2 is sustain. I hope you all know the rules. 3 brand new lives for you. Every question is now worth 5 points. On we go. Question number 1. Afraid of sharks? No, he hates the Hoover monster. Which suited king in a standard deck of cards is known as the Suicide King? 14 out of 22 attempting this. Remember, again, you don't have to answer. Correct answer is Hearts, the King of Hearts, for the reason being that he is seen apparently impaling himself upon his own sword. He's the one who's holding it up like that, sticking his sword through his head. Knew it was a red one, couldn't remember which one. Have you yinged instead of yang there, David? Or have you not answered? Oh, it doesn't look like you've answered. Diamonds is incorrect. King of Spades is incorrect. Diamonds is incorrect. Jack, King of Jack. No, that's not correct. And King of Spades incorrect. Hearts or King of Hearts would have sufficed for an answer there. Well played. Let's light back up. Here we go. Question number 2 for another 5 points. Take a look at this. A little bit cryptic, this one. Yeah, you better get the cards question, Ramsey. The name of which US state capital is used in a song popularised by Vera Lynn? Again, 14 out of 22, not the same 14, having a go at this one. So even though it's not referencing... Yeah, a little bit sneaky. Really nice question. I thought it was a good question as well. Even though it's not the same instance of this particular state capital, it is used in There'll Be Bluebirds Over the White Cliffs of... Dover. Dover, yes. The name of which US state capital is Dover. It is the capital of Delaware. I do believe it's the capital of Delaware, but unfortunately it is not. That's not the one that's used in the song. So Dover is the answer that we wanted. Quizzle give me Dover, Delaware. That I will accept. You've just sort of overcorrected there, Quizzle, but you have got the keyword Dover there, so I will allow that. And I think originally that was one of the accepted answers. I might have slightly edited that question, but Maryland, Sacramento, Delaware, and Connecticut are all incorrect. Something like Doverport, yeah, just Dover. No, the state's not their capitals. It's a gap for me as well, being an old Brit. The US state capital, mind you, I don't know many of the counties in the UK either, to be honest. 4 players losing a life there. Let's light you back up. As we go on to question number 3, Arun and Psychospace down to their last life already. So do tread carefully. And David, requiring all of the remaining questions, currently sat on 18. Needs to get 40 points in order to hit that target of 55. Good luck. Here's question number 3. What is the home country of the winner of the 2021 Golf Masters Tournament? Just 7 players attempting this one. I got distracted by the white noise on your pedestals there. It looks like it's moving faster than it normally does. I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. Correct answer was... Japan. He was Japanese. Very well done, Ramsey. The only one to get that. Everyone else going for either the USA, England, or Ireland. Not correct. Yes, he was a Japanese golfer by the name of... I didn't write this down when I merged the sheet. Hideki Matsuyama, Japanese golfer who won the 2021 Masters. There is definitely a correct answer to this. Yeah, Matsuyama. Thank you, Brian. We're enjoying that. I'm certainly enjoying the pack so far. I hope you're all enjoying Brian's pack, such that it is. It's chess, isn't it? What are we looking at? Yeah, I'm only looking at half a chat. Let's light you back up, but not before we've said goodbye to David, because unfortunately there are not enough questions for you to hit that target. So thank you for playing, but it's the end of the road. It's lights out. 3 players now requiring all. Energia, Shapes, and Arun. Any more abstentions and you will be eliminated from the game. And we've also got Cycle and David, who are on their last life, as well as Shapes and Arun there. So double jeopardy here for Shapes and Arun. Question number 4 is worth another 4 points. Take a look at this. All of the dogs are barking. It's mad. When you make a difficult and ultimately unhappy decision, you are said to bite which object?
All 21 attempting.
What the bloody hell is the dog barking? Are the dogs alright? All of the dogs are barking. It's the midnight bark, I guess, at 8:45. A second Hoover came into play, yeah, to really mess things up. Correct answer, all 21 attempting it. The correct answer is the bullet. Bullet or the bullet. All 21 attempting and all 21 correct. Very well played. Let's light you back up. Yes. Still 3 players requiring all, and still 4 players on their last life. Let's go on to question number 5. This is worth 5 points. Have a look at this. The Bork double concerto. What word connects a withdrawn part of a wall and a period of economic contraction? That white noise is definitely moving faster. 20 out of 21 attempting this. Correct answer is recession. Recession. Depression. Recess I can't accept because you don't have a recess, you have a recession. Slump, I don't know about having a slump in a wall. Slope in a wall. Having a depression in a wall. That's a tricky one to condone. Depression is more of a... No, I'm not going to accept it, I don't think, too. Depression is more of a specific recession, the Great Depression, or a medical condition, indeed. And I'm not sure you get a depression. You might get an impression in a wall, but a depression, I don't think so. Recession, certainly the answer. You have a slope in a wall if it's a broken wall. 4/4 of contract... Oh, really? Is that right? Well, today I learned. I'm sticking by my guns, though. I don't believe you get depressions in wars. You get impressions, certainly, which I might have been able to accept if that would have been a valid word, but I don't think that fulfills both criteria. Toot, I'm not going to accept that one. Recession, yes, recession is contraction on 2 consecutive quarters. Yes. Right, there we go. I've said my piece on that. Let's light you back up. Anyone to lose? Yes, a run. Unfortunately, you're out of lives. Oh... Bad luck. Unfortunately, it's the end of the road and it's lights out. Fired is the first to hit the target of 55. Very well played. You are through to the next round. Fired, providing you can hang on to those lives and not get yourself eliminated in the next 5 questions. If you want away and you're Cyan, that's 4 of you. 1 more correct answer will get you to that target of 55. If you require all of them, BC, Energia, Shapes, you must get all 5 in order to hit the target. And if you're on your last life, tread carefully. Cycle, BC, Shapes, and David. 1 more wrong answer and you will be eliminated. Good luck. Here's question number 6. Nicknamed Handyman, which species of early human are credited as the first makers of stone tools? "12 out of 20 having a go at this one. The correct answer is Homo habilis. Homo habilis. Very well done if you got this one. Neanderthal, not the right answer. Caveman, not specific enough. Neanderthal. Homo erectus, not the right one. Neanderthal and Homo erectus, all incorrect, I'm afraid. Very well done. If you have gone green or blue there, mark the second player to go blue and escaping into round 2. And a few other green lights there as well. Homo habilis is the answer that we wanted. Very well played. Unfortunately, Shapes and BC, you have exhausted your lives and it's impossible for you to hit that target, so I'm afraid it is the end of the road and it's light out. On we go then, question 7. Just 2 players escaping so far, Mark and Fired. Fired trying that question even though they're already out, I think, possibly. If you want away, Zeus, Ramsey, 2, Tau AF. 1 more question from the remaining 4 and you will escape to the next round, providing you can stay escaped and not lose all your lives. Psychospace, Lupine and Energy do require all 4 of the last 4 questions, and only Psychospace, Lupine and David now on their last lives. Good luck to you all. Question number 7, another 5 points. 18 of you still in live play and 2 escaped. Here is question number 7. In which part of the body would you find the carotid arteries? Out of 18 attempting this one. The correct answer is they're in the neck. They're in the neck. They feed blood to the face and brain, but the arteries themselves are found in the neck. Samsa saying the neck, and he's in the corner, so in danger of possibly being missed, but I have caught you there, Samsa. You can have that. Heart, and heart are all incorrect, but very well done if you did give the letter neck. There's a raid message. Well done if you gave me neck. Unfortunately, Lupine and Energia It is time for goodbye, Energia. There are not enough questions for you to hit 55, and Lupine, you've exhausted your life, so I'm afraid it's the end of the road, and it's lights out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players have now escaped. Mark, Zeus, Ramsey, Toot, and Fired. But remember, you can still be eliminated if you choose the hubris route and run out of lives in these last 3 questions. If you want to weigh, Tao, Itzotli, Innes, Lewis, Derek. One more correct answer from the remaining 3 and you'll get through. If you require all 3 of them, Cycle Space and Oni, tread carefully, you've got to give me all 3 correct. Also, you 2 on your last lives, along with Tao and David. So Tao, 1 away, but can't afford any wrong answers. That's a really precarious position to be in. You've got 3 questions to choose from Tao. Do you want to risk it on the next one, or wait for maybe something a bit more friendly? We'll have to wait and see. Question number 8, good luck. Have a look at this. Other than the resurrection, which miracle of Jesus is the only one to be written about in all 4 Gospels? Maybe some condoning to do here. I'm going to be relatively lenient. 10 players have attempted it. The correct answer is the feeding of the 5,000. The feeding of the 5,000, or the loaves and the fish. Water into wine was a wedding at Cana in Galilee. I think that's only referenced in, is it John? Pretty sure it's only in one of them. Feeding the 5,000 in this, yes, that is absolutely right. That answer apparently didn't make it onto the short list of answers that we could have had, but I will condone that. Feeding the 5,000. And you're through to the next round. Feeding of the 5,000, DVD Smith. Trying to type in as many letters as possible to see if his fast typing is any good. Feeding of the 5,000 is correct. Bread and fishes, yes, Colo, that is an acceptable answer. Bread and fish, I think, was on the list, or loaves and fish, maybe. But yes, bread and fish is another name for that. So, Colo, you can have bread and fishes. Water into wine, not correct. Walking on treacle is not an answer, but I like your thinking, Odie. And Quizzle, water into wine, also not correct. I didn't have to do as much condoning as I thought there. Oni, unfortunately, you've exhausted your lives. Thank you very much for playing, but it is the end of the road, and it's lights out. And you can still answer even if you're through. 7 players through so far. Mark, Zeus, Ramsey, Innes, Lewis, Toot, and Fired. But we've got quite a few more who are 1 away. Samster, David, Colo, Derek, Tao, and Itzotli. 1 more correct answer and you're through to the next round. Require both of them. Cycle Space and Quizzle. 2 correct answers required. And if you are on your last life, Tao, Cycle Space, Derek, David, Quizzle. A few people now in that precarious, tricky position, needing 1 more question with only 1 life. David, Derek, and Tao. You've got to decide, is it going to be this question or question number 10? Good luck to you all. Here's question 9 for 5 points. If you want a speech made, you should ask a man, but if you want something done, you should ask a woman, is a quote attributed to which world leader? David and Tao waiting for question number 10. Derek's going to put his eggs in this particular basket. The correct answer is... it was Margaret Thatcher who said that. Was a British Prime Minister, unfortunately not Churchill or Cycle Space and Colo. That is the wrong answer. It was indeed Margaret Thatcher. Toot saying Thatcher boo, but received out of time. David, damn it, I wasn't confident enough. Vomits, yes. But also at the same time. We should send... no, let's not press the space button. Let's move on rapidly from this. Churchill is the wrong answer, and unfortunately, Cycle Space, that is the last of your lives. Thank you very much for playing, but it's the end of the road, and it's lights out. So at the 22 that started this round, 10 are now through to the final. If they can stay there. Derek has only got 1 life left, though, it's worth pointing out. So if Derek does decide to attempt this question and gets it wrong, he will eliminate himself despite having escaped already. Is not committed to answering, though. Quizzle, David, Colo, and Tao do all need to get this one right. Lives a bit immaterial at this point, although 2 points for everyone you've got left. But you do need to give me a correct answer to question number 10. Good luck. Here it is. In which country would you find the island of Jeju? Or Jeju, quite sure of the pronunciation. Answers from 6 players. 4 who are not yet through and 2 who already are. The correct answer is... it's It's South Korea. Very well done, Innes, on getting the right answer. That's another one that can be worrisome because, much like with World War I, World War II, South Korea and North Korea, because it's got the O, the T, and the H of the first word in the right place, it would pass the 80% down of the spell checker despite being a very different country. But I decided I wasn't going to worry too much about it, and only one answer in the right ballpark, and that is Innes, who is correct with South Korea. Indonesia and the Philippines, I'm afraid, are not the right answers. Yeah, Java is pretty close, but not the one. Worth a go, Ramsey. You were already through, and it was 5 points if you got it, and you're only losing 2 from your bonuses here. So, yeah, worth a punt. Worth a punt. Unfortunately, though, Tao, David, Colo, and Quizzle, you haven't quite got that 55 points, so I'm afraid it is the end of the road, and it's lights out. And there they go out of the game. So we started with 30. We dropped to 22. And now just 10 players remain. Samster, Mark, Derek, Lewis, Zeus, Ramsey, Innes, Toot, Fired, and it's Sotley. You are all through to round number 3. 2 points for every life that you have got left at this stage. And yeah, it's pretty close, I have to say, these scores. Let's add on those bonuses and let's go to round number 3. If I press the right button. So, here we are in round 3. Survive. 10 of you remain. Advantage squarely with Innes at the moment on 71, though he's not a million miles ahead. Mark and Fire both on a very nice 69 at the moment. Zeus on 67, Lewis on 63, it's Sotley on 61, Toot's on go, apparently. I think that's probably 60, as is Samster, and Derek on 57. I think that's all 10 of you there. Ramsey on 61. Might have missed you. In this round, those points that you've amassed over the first 2 rounds now operate as a countdown clock. As soon as a player answers with the correct answer, those points will start counting down at the rate shown in the drain rate up in the top left-hand corner. It starts off at 1 point per second and a half, up to a maximum of 10. If you don't give me a correct answer, you will lose the maximum of 10 points. If nobody buzzes after 15 seconds, you all lose the maximum of 10 points. The lights in front of you are no longer lives. These now operate as refires. It means if you attempt the question and get it wrong, you will get an immediate ping back from the bot who will tell you the answer is wrong. You can attempt every question once for free, but you may then re-attempt the question, but every time you do it uses a refire. So if you run out of refires, it's not the end of the world, you're not eliminated, but it does mean from that point on only a first answer will be accepted. They can be very useful, particularly towards the end of the game if you've got it down to a choice of 2 or 3 options and you want to attempt a few things. That's about the level of it. If you run out of points, you are eliminated from the game. The last player standing will be the winner. If we don't go to 10 questions, then we don't go to 10 questions. But if we do go to 10 questions, then it will be the last player standing. And question 10, as you know, has got a little bit of a quirk to it. Good luck. Round 3 is Survive. Here is question number 1. Hey, babe. Calcite is made of 3 elements: calcium, oxygen, and which other? Zeus starting the clock. Mark right behind. Derek and Lewis are wrong. Can refire. Lewis getting it on a refire. Ramsey and 2 also right. Samson's also correct. It's Sotley and Innes are wrong. Refires available. Fine, you might as well attempt the question once. It's free to try it once. A reminder that it is free to try it once. Fine saying nitrogen, but just out of time. Carbon. Simple as that. Calcium, oxygen, and carbon are the 3 elements that make up calcite there. Very well done to Zeus starting the clock, but Mark managing to stop the clock before his clock actually started, so staying on his 69 there. A lot of points going out there. Innes losing the maximum of 10. What did you say? Derek going for silicon. Lewis for hydrogen. It's Sotley for hydrogen. And then Innes getting it on the second attempt. Went for hydrogen and then said hydrogen. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember how this debug works. But carbon is what we wanted. Very well played. Let's light you back up. Advantage with Mark now on 69. Zeus moves into second with 67. And Innes, I believe, is third on 62. Here is question number 2. Toot's going to start the clock, I reckon. The 2 James Bond films starring Timothy Dalton were Licensed to Kill, and which other? And I'm wrong! Innes has started the clock. This felt like it was in Toot's wheelhouse. Derek and Mark also correct. Tuke's giving it a go. Remember, you can always try the questions once. You can always try the questions once. Oh, okay, I've got this awkward thing where people have put living daylights and it's the living daylights. What I can do is retroactively add points back on, because there were a few people who said that. Let's have a look. Toot saying living daylights at 49 points. So Toot, I can give you 1 point back if you like. Points to restore to 49, lives to restore to 3. Don't press roll credits, Ben. Where's the button? Where is the button? Not reset for next question, focus, why condone answer. Manually set score, I think is that one. There we go, yeah, it's the living daylights. It's Sotley, in fact let's go from the top. Zeus saying Goldfinger not right, Sam's the view to a kill not right. Mark saying living daylights at 69 and then going for the kiving daylights. Mark, let me see if I can restore you back to your 3 lives and your 60. I can certainly do the points, I might not be able to do the lives. I think there's a bug that I haven't fixed. Let's have a look, because you did say living daylights at 69 points. Yes, but I can't restore the refire, unfortunately. Unless I can and it just doesn't turn the light on, I can't remember. Derek saying the living daylights at 47 with 3 lives left. So let me try and restore Derek. There you are. Manually set score. Put you back to what you should be on. Ramsey saying Thunderball. Lewis, the man with the golden gun. Fired, live and let die. It's Sotley, living daylights at 46 and 3. So let me restore that to you as well. Only giving you a couple of points back, but it can make all the difference. Apologies that I left only the answer with the definite article in front of it. Should have put Living Daylights as an alt. Well done if you did get me the Living Daylights, starring Timothy Dalton along with License to Kill. Let's lay back up. On we go. Question number 3. Last one where the drain rate is 1 point per second and a half. Good luck. Have a look at this. The prefix retro means backwards in which language? Toot starting the clock. Lots of green lights following. From Innes, from Ramsey, from Zeus, from Lewis, from Derek, from Mark. There's fired. Refire's available. It's Sotley and Samster. Simple as that. It's Latin. Greek, Japanese, French and Italian, all incorrect answers. No restoring necessary on that one. Latin is what we wanted. Well done if you got that. Let's light you back up. Drain rate increasing 1 point per second now up to a maximum of 15. Mark with the advantage on 68. Scores starting to become a little more spread out now. Innes in second on 61. Zeus, I believe, in third on 56. Up to a maximum of 15 points if you don't get me an answer on this one. I overthought that so much a little bit. Question number 4. Good luck. Have a look. The kuna is the official currency of which European country? Lewis in and wrong. Derek starting the clock though. Lewis in on a refire. Tink's also right. Samson's also right. Zeus and it's also right. And it's Croatia. Lewis, you said Croatia. It didn't get through the spell checker, and because it's a speed round, I will condone answers if it's something I've done by mistake, like overlooking a definite article as an alt. That's a perfectly valid thing. But spelling, when it's a speed round, I'm disinclined to condone, and this round is particular about speed, so I'm not going to go back and condone that. Yeah, Czechia is the Karuna, not the Kuna. Subtly different. Innes going for Czech Republic, Toot for Serbia, it's Sotley for Czechia, Mark for Cyprus, 5 for Slovenia, and Ramsey for Serbia. All incorrect answers. Well then, if you did get to Croatia rather than Croatia, let's light you back up. So, as we go on from here, Mark, I beg your pardon, has the advantage with 53. Zeus is in second with 47. Innes and Lewis are tied in third on 46. Another question with a drain rate of 1 point per 1 second up to a maximum of 15. Here is the next one. What is the interior angle of one corner of a pentagon? Innes starting the clock. It's Sotley and Ramsey right behind. A few more answers coming in here. 108, although I'm now thinking, actually, I might have made a mistake there. No, have I made a mistake? No, I haven't made a mistake. Oh, have I made a mistake? 108 times... Oh, 108 times 5 is 540, yeah. 108. Don't know where 120 has come from. 120 is a hexagon, isn't it? No. I don't even know. I don't even. Exterior is 72, interior. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I thought I was right. So it's in the sort of sorting out the question pack. It was, I was like, have I even looked something here? Have I proved that incorrectly? But I was thinking, no, it's bollocks. 108 is the right answer. Samson going for 36. Toot going for no bar. Maths question, of course. Derek going for 120. Lewis for 72. Yes, it would be something else is 72. But yeah, 108, the internal angle of one corner of a pentagon. Nice to see the maths teacher getting this one. And 108 was the answer we wanted. Let's light you back up. One more question at this drain rate, 1 point per second up to a maximum of 15. Nobody yet dropping into the dangerous potential elimination-y territory, so we're all going to survive at least this question and get to question number 7. Mark and Innes are tied for the lead on 46 here. Zeus is right behind on 42. Lewis is a point behind that on 41. Still very, very close. Samsa on 19, but still chance to catch up. Here is question number 6. Xi'an, China houses the largest number of warriors made of what substance? Innes, no, beg your pardon, Zeus was the first to answer there. Fired is wrong. You can refire if you like fired. It's not that either. That's the one. Fired using up all the refires to get there. It's terracotta, specifically terracotta, clay and stone, not the right answers there, Fired. Very well done. Yes, the terracotta army in the mausoleum of the Emperor Chin something. Zeus started the clock there. A few refires from Fired needing to be used there, but did get there eventually. Well done. Let's light you back up. So, maximum, the drain rate is now 1 point per 0.75 seconds, maximum of 20, which puts Samster and Fired and it's Sotley in danger of elimination. If you don't give me a right answer to this one, you will be eliminated. It's Sotley and Samster have got one refire. Lewis and Fired are out. Innes and Zeus still with all 3. Best of luck to you all. Question number 7. Take a look at this. Oh, this is a beast of a question. Until June 2018, which company was the only one to be listed continuously on the Dow Jones Industrial Average since it was founded in 1896? Lewis has gotten there. Clocks are on. Fired is out of time. Samster is out of time, as is it Sotley. Oh, brutal question there. People not wanting to use their refires. Remember, you've got those refires. If you're not sure, use them. Use them, you might as well, because they don't give you any extra points. General Electric was the answer. Ford, Sears, Nintendo, General Motors, so halfway there in it, but not quite. Ford, AT&T, IBM, AT&T, US Steel, Standard Oil, Ford, and Boeing. People think Boeing was invented in 1896, or AT&T. Well, I have to know AT&T, they may have been a phone network, possibly, but certainly Boeing was a little bit late. They didn't invent the plane until about, 1912 was it? Or 1903? No, 1912 was Titanic. 1903 was the first flight. What's the point in refiring a kind of ballpark? That's a solid response at Sotley. That's a solid response. Unfortunately, it does mean we have got some casualties after 7 questions in the final. It's Sotley, Fired, and Samson. Your points have been exhausted. Thank you very much for playing, but it's the end of the road and it's lights out. With 3 questions left of this pack, Innes has the lead on 26. Zeus and Mark are in second. No, I beg your pardon. Lewis, for being the only one to get that one right. Lewis has got a sizable lead on 40. Innes is in second on 26. Zeus and Mark are in third on 22, both of whom can just survive. Derek, Ramsey, and Toot are in imminent danger if they do not give me a correct answer to this question. Lewis is also out of refires. Mark and Toot have 1. Innes, Ramsey, and Derek have 2. Zeus still has all 3. Good luck. Question number 8. If you're ordering sake at a Japanese restaurant, what type of fish are you ordering? Zeus has started the clock. Derek's out of time. Toot's out of time. Mark has got there. Ramsey's in and wrong and out of time. Refires, guys. Refires available. Well, not Lewis. Oh, Lewis hadn't even given one answer. It's salmon. Could you get around the logic of the question? It's spelt the same, but it is not sake. It is pronounced differently. Sake, as opposed to sake. Yeah, I thought it might throw a few people there. And it's salmon. It's a salmon dish. It is distinct from sake, or sake, as we may know the rice wine. It is different, pronounced differently, probably written differently as well. Goodness me, what a change around this game is having in this final. Some very good questions that are foxing people and catching people out along the way. I think I was looking at Ramsey, which is why I said foxing there, so thank you for that, Ramsey. Fastest I've ever gotten here by a margin. No, I wouldn't be sad. 28 questions in the Escape Artist is to be commended, sir. So very, very well played. Unfortunately, though, for you and for two and for Derek, you have exhausted your points. That is the end of the road, and it is lights out. So... Zeus on 22, Lewis on 20, Mark on 16, Innes on 6. Zeus is the only one who can survive not getting this question right. He's also got the most refis, so he has got the most attempts at this question. Mark with 1, Innes with 2. Lewis, only a first answer will be accepted. If everyone goes out apart from Zeus here, i.e. if no one gets it right, or if Zeus starts the clock and no one else gets it right, then it will be Zeus's game and we will forego question number 10. If someone else gets it right, then Zeus could still survive this. Very, very interesting. Maximum of 20 points being lost. 3 of you in jeopardy. 1 point per 0.75 seconds. I read somewhere only that it was pronounced differently. But translation from other languages, so take it with a grain of salt. Question number 9. Good luck to you all. Here it is. The tango originated on the natural border between Argentina and which other country? Mark is in and wrong. Innes has started the clock. Clocks are wrong. Zeus has found it. I think Mark has used his refire. And Lewis was also wrong. So I think what happened there, Mark went for Paraguay, but only got Para G-U-A and then the Y on the second one. Paraguay was wrong anyway. It was Uruguay. You could have maybe had one more refire to attempt that one there, Mark. But unfortunately, that's how it has gone down. Uruguay was the answer, not Colombia, not Paraguay. And that was your last tag. Very good. Have a honk. Very good, Mark. Mark and Lewis, after 29 questions, a phenomenal effort. And Lewis having a big, big lead earlier on in this round. But unfortunately, tonight is not to be. It is the end of the road, and it's lights out. So... Zeus and I are calling each other a gay. Zeus and Innes, it comes down to you two, and we get to see all 30 questions. And I will add, this is the question I wrote, because the last question needs to be puzzly. It was a bit trivia heavy before, so this is one question, with Brian's blessing, that I did rewrite. So this one question in the pack does come from me. And it's going to be down to you two. Zeus, if you answer it correctly first, you win the game. Innes, if you answer correctly first, then Zeus, you'll have about 5 seconds to get the answer in before you drop below Innes's points. If neither of you get it within 15 seconds, both of your clocks will start and they will continue counting down until you run out of points. There is a potential for there to be no winners, as you know. Take your time to pass the question. You've got 15 seconds to think about it, unless you're Innes, in which case you probably definitely want to answer first. Good luck to you both. Here is question number 10, or rather question number 30 of 30. What is the second most populous city in the country that features in an alternative name for an Alsatian? Not that one, not that one. Refis available, not that one, not that one. Clock's on. Innes has got it. Zeus, you got one more refire. One more refire. Oh, Zeus! Oh, what a steal from Innes. I thought we were going to have no winners. Innes went Frankfurt, and then Zeus went Cologne, and then Zeus went Munich, and then Innes went Munich, and then Innes got to the answer, which is Hamburg. Hamburg was the answer that we wanted. And then Zeus, having a refile left, went with Frankfurt. It was not the answer. Oh, you could have had such joy. Berlin is first. Munich is third. Hamburg is second. Zeus, it's a steal from behind by Innes, but unfortunately, my darling, it is the end of the road and it's lights out. Which means after 30 questions, he's got no refis left. He used all of them to get to that answer, and he's down to just 6 points. But he has survived. We have got a survivor for the first time in a little while, I think. What did we have one last time we played? I can't remember, but it seems like it's been a while. Innes, congratulations. You are the escape artist. And Zeus, I've just looked at my log and it said Zeus said Hamburg, but the message was received out of time. It would have been below 6 anyway, but you could have had your light left on. Innes would have still been the escape artist unless it was on the exact same points. But just the way it goes. But Innes, huge congratulations to you. You are the escape artist. And can we have a round of applause for Brian? Second pack in the community, and I think it's more than lived up to the high quality of the first. So Brian, thank you very much for a wonderful, wonderful pack there. Really good fun. Very exciting game. Very exciting stuff going on there. And Kirstupin, hello, welcome to the stream. Really, really good stuff. Very much enjoyed that. And Mrs. Flash is here.
Hi, I'm Mr. Meeseeks.
Look at me! You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
Yeah. Have you been hoovering? I heard barking.
I have been hoovering.
What was Miney barking at?
The neighbours.
Oh, right.
Because how dare we have neighbours?
How dare they be outside? The bastards. Yes, Hermione.
Indeed. Hi everyone, how's it going? Hi.
You Mrs. Flash. Is my wife? Right.
No one's gonna kill me until I catch my wife in bed with another man.
What's that from?
That is from Rick and Morty.
Oh, is that Rick and Morty as
did
well?
us
Okay.
on a bit of a Rick and Morty binge. Hi everyone.
Right. We're going to go for a very short break just while I prep the next game, which is going to be Face Off. Oh my goodness gracious me. If you are in the next Face Off, get yourself into the Discord. Jack, Mark, Zeus and Claire. We've got all of the stats to share with you. It is really heating up as day 5 gets to the midway point. Then we get a couple of streams off from Face Off, and then it comes back in a week from now for Tuesday and next Thursday
It's the Hoover
to conclude
monster,
the heats.
basically the Cookie Monster, but he goes Hoover!
Hoover!
Hoover! Hoover! Hoover! Hoover!
I think that's
Hoover!
exactly how it goes. It's a very good impression of the Hoover, actually. Best I've heard. Anyway, come back in just a few minutes for some face-off.
How many impressions of Hoovers have you heard?
Not many. That's my impression. Come back after the break for Face Off. It's going to be a very exciting match. Get your popcorn, stretch your legs. I'm going to get myself another beer, and I'll see you there for that in just a few minutes. Until then, though, Innes, very many congrats. Well, sorry, first of all, thank you to Brian once again for a splendid pack right there. But congratulations must go to Innes. You are the escape artist. And don't go away, because in just a few short minutes, Face Off Day 5 continues. The second heat from Day 5. It's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it. Grab your popcorn, grab a beer, and don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back. Welcome back to the second part of game night this Tuesday evening, the 28th of June, where it is face-off time. And my goodness me, is this competition heating up. As we get to day 5, it's been very difficult to call. We've not had the same leader throughout. It's been a bit chop and change, and positions have been jumping up and down, such is the nature of this game. Let's take a look at the leaderboard and where it stood as of the end of the first heat, at the end of Saturday's heat. Mark and Derek are 1 and 2. Mark with a C is third. All 3 of those are still yet to play, though one of them is playing this evening. The heat we had on Saturday, David, Arun, Ralph and Topper. It did leave, sadly, it left Topper eliminated from the tournament, but hopefully having had a lovely time. The rest of the positions, it's all a bit up in the air until we've got the rest of the results. Jurors, by the way, welcome to the stream. Good to have you with us. This evening, we are going to have it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. We've got Jack, Mark, Zeus and Claire. Jack currently in 14th. Mark currently in 3rd. Zeus currently in 7th. Claire currently in 12th. From 4 different quarters of the leaderboard. I'll talk through their stats in a little bit more detail in just a moment. But the only thing we know right now is that Topper is eliminated, and unfortunately Liam cannot attain enough points because the cutoff for reaching the playoffs is now 7 points. So it is. But I'll say more about that, or possibly Panda will say more about that in a little while. For now, let's meet tonight's 4 face-off competitors. We have Jack, our 23-year-old Democratic Services Officer from Berkshire. We have Mark from the US of A. We have Zeus, our 32-year-old business analyst from London. And we have Claire, our 34-year-old deployment manager from Surrey. To all 4 of you, good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good to have you all here, and the pressure is really on. You saw the league table, you saw it's been up and down and all over the place. This is the last heat, and for some of you it could be your last face-off match of the tournament. Jack, I'm going to start with you. First of all, Jack, thank you for being here. I know you weren't feeling 100% earlier on. I hope that you're feeling a bit better now.
Yeah, I've not felt well since about Sunday.
Oh, dude.
So I was sort of unsure whether I'd be able to make it, but I feel alright. It's sort of
the drugs.
Had
Is it
some
the drugs?
painkillers.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, some drugs.
had some to eat.
The legal drug, the over-the-counter legal drugs, of course. You need to say that, Twitch, if anyone's watching from higher up. So we're all POG AF here. Now, Jack, bit of an interesting tournament up to this point. Currently sat on 4 points: a 2, a 1, a 0, and a 1. According to Panda, our statistician, you must get 4 to potentially get into the playoffs. So a win and nothing less than a win is what you need to make the playoffs at this point. You have a little fact nugget for you. You faced the fewest questions of the players in this heat tonight due to high time banks in rounds where you advance. So out of all the players in this, I don't know if that's in this heat or if that's overall in the tournament, but you've faced fewer questions than anybody else. Do you feel that puts you at an advantage, a disadvantage, or doesn't really make any odds?
I definitely feel I've faced the extremes. I've had very, very good rounds where I've been very lucky, and I've had absolutely terrible rounds. I can't think of any time I've come out of a game thinking I did average there.
It's been one of 2. There is no middle ground. It was do or do not. Well, Jack, you know what's at stake tonight, and you know what you need to do. The very best of luck to you.
Thank you. Good.
Facing off against Jack is Mark. Mark, good afternoon, I suppose it is for yourself, isn't it?
Yes, and good evening to you, Ben.
Good afternoon. Good to have you with us. Fairly comfortable through the tournament so far. Very, very solid opening with 4 points on your first 2 days. Little bit of a dip then, 1 point on day 3, and then 2 points losing out in the final on day 4 for a total of 11. The stats I've got in front of me here is that at this stage you are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs already, and you are theoretically playing for enough points to potentially go straight to the final. So a strong result here tonight could put you straight into the final. I think it will still be dependent on other results of other games, other heats as well. But you're guaranteed a playoff position. Your accuracy percentage dropped in matches 2 and 3, but back up to 71% on the last match. Panda's speculation possibly getting back into the swing of it after maybe a mid-tournament slump, perhaps. I mean, it must be reassuring knowing that you're already you're going to get at least one more match after this one.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd probably prefer to get straight through to the finals. So
yeah, because if I win and everyone else and whoever has to loses, I'm guaranteed a final spot and a little money.
Possibly, quite possibly. So high stakes on this tournament right here. On this heat right here. So yeah, currently on 11. 4 points tonight would give you 15, and depending on the results of Derek and Shapes in subsequent heats, could be a fast track into the final. And as you say, cashing in already. Mark, very best of luck to you this evening.
Thank you.
Facing off against Jack and Mark is Zeus. Zeus, good evening.
Hello.
Absolute heartbreak at the end of the escape artist, I have to say.
Yeah, Germany, what can you say?
I bet you're never going to eat hamburgers again.
Let's not go that far.
How are you keeping anyway? You doing well?
Yeah. Just a busy day at work, so I'm ready for bed straight after this.
Okay.
Roll lifestyle.
Good stuff. Now, it's very much been a tournament of two halves. I think you've been one of the most divisive players in terms of what you've scored. A 0, a 4, a 4, and then another 0. So 2 wins and 2 dead last for a total of 8 points. What I'm being told here is that you are at least tied with the cutoff to get to the playoffs, and 1 point, just 1 point here, will guarantee you a spot in the playoffs. You are unable to get straight to the finals because the maximum score you can attain tonight is 12, which would tie you with Derek. But because you lost to Derek in day 1, Derek would take priority there, even if he comes last. So you can't get a fast track, but even if you go out first, there's a chance you'll get into the playoffs. And if you get just 1 point tonight, it's a guarantee into the playoffs. That's got to be a pretty comfortable position to be starting from.
It sounds good, but you know I love drama, so getting that 1 point is going to be very difficult.
Absolutely. Well, we will find out very shortly if you can do it. Apparently, you've got a 4.3 second per question average. I don't know if that's questions correct or questions overall, but that's pretty bloody quick. So just a little bit of extra trivia for you there on your performance. Zeus, wishing you the very best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
And facing off against Jack, Mark, and Zeus is Claire. Claire, good evening.
Hello.
Have you been to Glastonbury?
No, I haven't. I was at Cub Camp.
Oh, well, that was probably
it's like
almost
our own
as fun, if not more fun, than Glastonbury, I would say.
I've never been to Glastonbury. I'm a massive festival fan, but I feel Glastonbury's a little bit too big for me. I think I might lose my tent.
Okay. Well, I know, yeah, because I didn't know you were a sort of festival fan, and it's sort of just been on for the first time in 3 years. I wondered if you might have gone up. Now, Claire, again, it's a tournament of consistency apart from that one. 2, 2, 0 and 2, so getting to all but one of the previous finals, currently sitting on 6 points. A single point tonight will tie you with Ralph and Arun, and potentially Samster and Anonymous as well, depending on results over there. This is what Panda was saying. I believe you would need Samster to score exactly 1 point and Benzi to not win to come out in a potentially safe place in the 4-way tie. A 2 would guarantee at least a tie with the cutoff, and a 4 would guarantee a place in the playoffs. So massive swings on the outcome of this heat tonight.
Yes, that's stressful.
But try not to think about it. Just think of the questions. Right. Don't worry about the stats. We'll leave the stats to me and Panda. Something else for you here. Apparently, you have always been greater than 60% accurate, even in the 0 point game. Greater than 6% in games where you went to the finals. And also, you have spent the longest time on the clock in the arena of all 4 players in this heat. Probably on account of the fact that you've been in 3 finals. So,
and the time when I just like zoned out halfway through.
That, yeah, if we're counting that time as well, if that's sort of dead time or blank time, but yeah, that probably counts towards it as well. So you've got a lot of, you've been in the arena a lot, and it's at least one more, possibly more than that. We will have to wait and see what happens. Claire, the very best of luck to you this evening.
Thank you very much.
Those are our 4 players on this, the second heat of day 5. It is all hotting up, and as you heard from the statistical analysis, and we'll hear a little bit more from Panda after the stream, we'll get some instant statistical results based on the results of this. It's like this is like the exit poll. We'll get the exit poll after the heat, and then we'll get the full results probably in the morning. But there is a lot at stake here. The very best of luck to all 4 of you. Let's go to the face-off arena. So I'm sure you all know the rules by now. 4 podiums, 60 seconds on each. Players get a question. If they get it right, clock stops, moves on to the next player. If they get it wrong, they get another question. And they keep getting questions until they either get one right or they run out of time. First player to run out of time will be eliminated. Next one, rinse and repeat then with 90, and then rinse and repeat with 2 and 120 seconds. First one out gets no points, second one gets 1, third one gets 2, the winner gets 4. And all of the players have now had an opportunity to appear on every colour platform. Some of them will have been on one of the colours. In fact, they'll all have been on one of the colours twice. But Jack, it is your turn to go on the blue podium, which means you will be at the front of the pack. You will be answering questions first. The very best of luck to you all. And Jack, your time starts now. Jack, what is the English translation of the Italian word grazie? Correct. Mark, which word connects a meal where guests serve themselves and a railway coach? Correct. Zeus, the words assassin, safari and divan are all derived from which language?
Latin.
Arabic. Anna Neagle played which historical figure in the 1951 film
Florence Nightingale.
Correct. Claire, Salem is the capital of which US state?
Oregon.
Correct. Jack, which surname is shared by a Northern Irish musician called Van and an American rock singer called Jim? Correct. Mark, Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks were legends in which TVs? Correct. Zeus, the Bering Sea is in the northern part of which ocean?
Pacific.
Correct. Claire, the title of the best-selling 2000 book by Anthony Bourdain is Kitchen what?
Nightmares.
Confidential. The Cumberland Gap is in which mountain range?
Pass.
Appellations. The flag of which Asian country consists of orange, white and green horizontal stripes?
India.
Correct. Jack, who had a hit single in 1968 with Jumpin' Jack Flash? Is the Rolling Stones. In Small Time Crooks, Woody Allen starred alongside which British female comedian? Tracy Ullman. If you sailed west from Albania, which mainland country would you arrive at first?
Turkey.
Italy. In the 2002 film Ocean's 11, which British boxer plays himself? Lennox Lewis. What was the first name of the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, Baron Jenkins of Hillhead?
Roy.
Correct. Mark, what A is the name of the garment worn over the front of the body to protect clothes?
Apron.
Correct. Zeus, who did Julie Walters play in the spoof TV soap opera Akon, Mrs. Overall? Eminem had a 2000 UK #1 single with the Shady. The slogan Real Beauty has been used to advertise which brand?
Pass.
Dove. If a French traffic policeman asks to see your permis de conduire, what are you
Driving
expecting?
license.
Correct. Claire, which actor appeared in When the Boat Comes In and The Likely Lads?
Pass.
James Bolam. The full name of the UFI launched in 2000 is the University for what?
Information.
Industry. The 1956 film in which an American town is taken over by aliens is called Invasion of the what?
Body snatchers.
Correct. Jack, which Swedish environmental activist began the school party? Correct. Mark, lupine means like or pertaining to which animals? Correct. Zeus, the river Tagus rises in Spain and reaches the sea in which other European country? Correct. Claire, the former ruling family of which country was assassinated in 1918 at Ekaterinburg?
Russia.
Correct. Jack, how many inches are there in 10 feet?
120.
Correct. Mark, in the UK, for what sport do the letters LT stand for in the organisation LTA? Lawn tennis. In which decade did James Garfield serve as President of the USA?
1890s.
1880s. What is the lowest age at which a driver is permitted to take a car driving test in the UK?
16.
17. The Today programme airs on which BBC radio station?
4.
Correct. Zeus, what S can refer to a defensive technique in wrestling or unrestricted urban growth?
Pass.
Sprawl. It was a pleasure to burn is the opening line of which Ray Bradbury novel? Fahrenheit 451. In the TV sitcom Last of the Summer Wine, which character has been played by Auntie Wainwright? Which country will host the Men's Cricket World Cup in 2023?
India.
Correct. Claire, in which testament of the Bible is the book Isaiah?
New.
No, it's the Old. A cheap, sensational novel or journal was known as a penny what?
Dreadful.
Correct. Jack, 240 inches is equal to how many feet?
20.
Correct. Mark, who painted a Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte?
Syrah.
Correct. Zeus, in which sport do you have a middle stump?
Cricket.
You do. Claire, in mathematics, what is the inverse of taking a logarithm?
Pass.
It's exponent. The singer Little Richard had a 1957 UK hit single with the song
Sorry.
Long Tall... Correct. Jack, which auto manufacturer makes models of car including the Twingo, Zoe and Clio?
Renault.
Correct. Mark, what name is normally given to the male buffalo?
Bull.
Correct. Zeus, somebody who speeds through a cautionary traffic light is sometimes called an amber what?
Gambler.
Correct. Claire, what medical term for memory loss comes from the Greek words for without memory?
Amnesia?
Amnesia is the right answer, and I'm so sorry that I forgot to turn notifications off. That's the first time in like 18 heats I've forgotten to do that. I have now turned it off. I'm sorry if that was a distraction. I thought I'd just focus on the game. You sounded like you're in the zone. I thought that'd be better than hitting the emergency stop button. And we got through an entire round without having to press it. But my God in heaven, those are some times running low. It all started very, very confidently for everyone, and then it just started to tick down and a few spirals here and there. But that could have gone any way. But unfortunately, Claire, yeah, amnesia was the answer to that last one, but just out of time. So it is going to be, your fate rather, is going to be decided on other people.
Oh, it's much better than relying on me.
It does
Very
take the pressure,
exciting.
it takes the pressure off somewhat. You can just sort of sit back.
Yeah.
It's like
Your
Wimbledon.
dice
Just
can roll.
sit back and watch it. Yeah, just sit back and enjoy the fun. Your boy Denny, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for the kind words. And if that was, I don't know. Thank you for the follow as well. That set off the sting. I normally mute notifications during Face Off. I forgot. So thank you for reminding me I needed to do that. And welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying it. Claire, it's no points on this occasion. We will have to wait and see what that is going to mean. It might be a last heat. It might be I'm speaking to you again in a week or two's time. But for now, I will say cheerio and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Bye. Hope everybody wins.
Which means Mark, Jack, and by the skin of his teeth, Zeus are through to the next round. Zeus will be moving to the left with the least time left, Jack to the middle, and Mark to the right. Let's go to round 2. Cool, Zeus, you like to live dangerously, don't you? Oh, you said you like some drama, but 3 seconds.
Yeah, that was not okay. And also, apologies, I may have said a bad word in there. Very sorry about that.
Did
It
you?
was after the M&M question, sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I was too busy saying the correct answer. But yeah, I think that was one of those ones, jumped the gun, and then I think you got another question afterwards, which sort of cost you some time there, and I think you probably did know the real Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Oh, what a pain, what a pain. But hey, you did survive, and was Amber Gambler, did you know that one? Because it sounded like a half guess.
It was just words that rhyme with amber, and it doesn't even rhyme with amber, but still.
Doesn't really, does it? But it was the right answer, and I think that has saved your bacon here. I mean, you may have had time for the amnesia question as well, but that's all spilt milk under the bridge, or not, as the case may be. You are through to round 2, and I think that also means that you're guaranteed the playoffs.
Yay.
So can I take this opportunity to congratulate you on making the playoffs? How high up the playoffs, what advantage and which one you get still remains to be seen. But you are through to the playoffs now. But let's concentrate on this heat for now. Spilt milk under the bridge. Yeah. I would love to take credit for that expression, Aaron, but it's actually from a 2012 film called Margin Call, which is one of the best films I've ever made. It had it's got Kevin Spacey in it, and before he was cancelled, and Zachary Quinto and Jeremy Irons and Paul Bettany. And honestly, watch it. It's about the market crash. Margin Call. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're not into film. Never mind. Jack, moving on. Early spiral there, but a nice politics question getting you out of bother.
It's a good job I can multiply by 12.
And that, yes, was that 2 questions on feet and inches?
Yeah, back to back.
So hey, that's the way the game goes.
20 feet.
20 feet.
I did say my luck is either great or terrible, and that is, I think, the luckiest back-to-back set of questions I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. No, but through. Of course, the pressure is still on for you because you do require 4. But you're one step closer. You're guaranteed at least 1 now, and very best of luck moving into this next round.
Yeah, can I just say that the combination of like feeling ill and having the sickness in my stomach from the stress of this is awful. I've never felt anything like this before.
I can only apologise and re-express my gratitude that you're able to be with us even though you're ill. Shapes, can I offer a correction? I did not mean to say one of the best films I've ever made. I probably meant to say one of the best films I've ever seen. I probably went halfway between best films I've ever seen and best films ever made. It's honestly really, really good. Originally, those two maths questions were literally back to back. Didn't move them far enough apart, apparently. That's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Jack, well done. Through to round 2. Mark, also through to round 2. Most amount of time left on the clock. Not too much by way of drama there. I think a couple of sort of maybe Brit-centric questions, but strong answering and fast answering as well has put you into a good position here in round 2. So, we should play on, really, shouldn't we?
Okay, yeah.
Anything you'd like to add, Mark, before we jump in?
Not really, thank you. Just good luck to both of yous.
Good luck.
And to you as well. In fact, to all three of you, the very best of luck. We are going to begin at round 2. I have now muted notifications. I'm going to double check that I've muted. Yes, I have. Good. Not that I'm ungrateful for the follows, but I'll read them at the end. Zeus, you have the least amount of time left on your clock. You're going to be answering questions first in this round. Best of luck to all three of you. And Zeus, your time starts now. Zeus, which UK charity founded in 1921 famously uses the poppy flower as its emblem? It's the Royal British Legion. When asked to define jazz, which singer and trumpeter said, "If you still have to ask, shame on you"? Louis Armstrong. Bishop Rock Lighthouse is found in which island group?
Scilly Isles?
Scilly is correct, yes. Jack, which actor produced, directed and starred in the 1960 film John Wayne? What is 1/2 of 3,878?
1,000... pass.
9,939. The Pekingese dog was named after a city in which country?
China.
Correct. Mark, a marble arch stands at a corner of which royal park?
Pass.
Hyde Park. The abdominal muscles are in which area of the body?
The chest.
No, it's the stomach. Which wild animal park in Bedfordshire was opened in 1931? It's Whipsnade. Stephanie Cole and Graham Crowden were starred in Richard Waiting for God. Including blanks, how many letter tiles are there in a standard... correct. Zeus, in major athletic competition, what is the longest track event to take place completely within the stadium?
The 1,500?
No, it's 10,000. The German cake Stollen is usually eaten during which Christian festival?
Christmas.
Yes, it is. Jack, which playwright and poet was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564?
Shakespeare.
Yes. Mark, Nicholas Kiefer and Tommy Haas represent which European country in tennis? It's Germany. Runnymede, the meadow where Magna Carta was sealed, is on the bank of which river?
Pass.
It's the Thames. The Tears of a Clown was a 1970 UK...
Smokey Robinson, Miracles.
No, it's... Tears of a Clown was a 1970 UK #1 single for Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Yeah, sorry, I needed to finish reading the question because I didn't know if it was after. I didn't know if Miracles was the name of the track because you got in before I got there. It's one of those questions where you gave me more information, but you did give me the salient information, so I will mark that as correct. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Yes, so the clock is going to move on to Zeus, and Zeus, your time will continue in 3, 2, 1. The US Military Academy at West Point trans cadets into commissions in which of the armed forces? Correct. Jack, who is the husband of Tom Daly, who won the Best Original Screenplay Oscar for Milk? Dustin Lance Black. Which domestic appliance might feature a delicate or spin cycle?
Washing machine.
Correct. Mark, Seward's Folly was a derisive...
Alaska.
Correct. Zeus, which word follows secretary, director and attorney to give 3 job titles?
In general?
I need a ruling on that. It's general. It's not in general. I don't think I can accept it, but I will go for a ruling. Secretary General, Director General, Attorney General. I don't know if in general is going to be too far off the mark, but I will wait for a ruling on that. From the powers that be, take a minute to catch your breath. Not much in it at the moment, not much at all. I can't take a call, Panda. I'm in the I'm in the room. I'm in the arena room. We got a Toot score about as well. This is a sort of a hunch question. What do you think? I'll give 10 seconds for his score coming in, and Toot as well. We are unanimous, including me, as my gut feeling is that, unfortunately, no, it's not going to fly. So, Zeus, the time will still be with you, and that time will continue in 3, 2, 1. The singer who had a UK hit in 1992 with Mad About the Boy was Dinah Who, Washington. Which Lancashire seaside resort has an operating tram system? Yes. Jack, in the term Ro-Ro Ferry, what is Ro-Ro short for? Roll on, roll off. What M is a noun used to refer collectively to the many types of mass communication?
Pass.
Media. Which family of musical instruments does an ocarina belong to?
Wind.
This is a really tough one to me. I'm not going to go for a ruling. I'm just going to take a minute to ponder it. I think I probably do accept it because they're generally synonymous. The answer on my card is woodwind, but they are generally treated as synonymous terms, wind or woodwind. I just wanted a minute just to process that in my brain before making a decision. So, Jack, that is a correct answer. And Mark, the clock is going to pass over to you, and your time is going to continue, if I go back to the right focus, in 3, 2, 1. In skiing, which article of equipment has a wrist strap and a ring or wheel near the bottom?
Pole.
Correct. Zeus, which TV chef hosted Iron Chef America?
Gordon Ramsay.
Alton Brown. Complete the title of the 1988 film directed by Terry Gilliam, The Adventures of Baron What? Munchausen. In which decade did Carly Simon first have a UK hit single with You're So Vain?
1970s?
Yes. Jack, which 70s, 80s TV sitcom featured Peter Bowles as To the Manor Born? St Dunstan's is a national charitable organisation for the care of those with which condition? Blindness. From which European country did pesto sauce originate?
Italy.
Yes. Mark, who was the partner of Dalil in the TV detective show based on the novels by
Pasco.
Reginald Hill? Pasco is right, yes. Zeus, what V name is given to the time of the grape
Vine.
harvest? No, it's vintage. The Battle of Agincourt in 1415 was a battle in which war?
100 years?
Correct. Jack, in a standard manual car, which of the 3 foot pedals is in the centre?
Accelerate.
No, it's the brake. What type of citrus fruit has varieties called Hamlin and Valencia?
Orange.
Correct. Mark, which traditional deep rectangular ceramic kitchen sink is also the name of a domestic servant?
Butler.
Yes. Zeus, which city can be reached by driving west from Manchester along the M62?
Liverpool.
Yes. Jack, vitriol is another name for which acid?
Pass.
Sulfuric. Which geometric shape does a traditional samosa resemble?
Triangle.
Yes. Mark, which team in the Scottish Football League play their home matches? It's Rangers. The Brenner Alpine Pass lies between Austria and which... Yes. Zeus, the northern English towns of Richmond and Skipton lie on the edge of which national park?
The Lake District.
The Yorkshire Dales. The circus company formed in Quebec in 1984 is the Cirque du... Yes. Jack, When a Child is Born was a 1976 UK hit single for Johnny Who?
Pass.
Mathis. Which model was shown crying on the cover of the 2014 final issue of Nuts magazine? Lucy Pinder. The Ebola virus was first identified in which continent?
Africa.
Correct. Mark, the 1st of March is the feast day of which patron saint?
Pass.
St David. In 1985, Garry Kasparov became the youngest ever world
Chess.
champion. Correct. Zeus, what S is a piece of sporting equipment comprising of a cork base often fitted with 16 goose feathers?
Shuttlecock.
Correct. Jack, Jeremy Wells hosts which country's version of Taskmaster?
New Zealand.
Is the right answer. Now, I've got a predicament here because I pressed the incorrect button on a previous question and it didn't register through my Stream Deck, and I think it probably cost you a second, and I think you'd have had a second left, which may not have counted for much, but I would like to play it out because the stakes are so high here, which means we've got a tricky situation because the heat has ended. What I will get the adjudicators to do briefly is check and see how much time elapsed between Jack passing or giving his incorrect answer and the question actually clearing. If it's more than a second, there is enough license because your answer there, New Zealand, came in before your time ran out. And if you'd had a second to spare, that could have changed the discourse of the game because times are relatively low. Now, this might sound like an unfair ruling, but that's the ruling I'm going to go for. But in order to do this, I am going to have to reset the game, which might cause havoc with the scores on the board. I'm
happy if it will take too long not to. Zeus will have 2 shots, so it's probably not going to change anything.
I mean, that is your decision. I mean, if you want to concede it, I mean, that is not going to be my default decision. I will reset the game to do it because I do want to do right by you. Bear in mind, you will have 1 second. So basically, if it comes back round to you, you've got 1 second to say pastrami. The incorrect button question, Panda, was which model was shown crying on the cover of the 2014 final issue of Nuts magazine. As either that one, I think it was that one. And I think there was a pronounced delay before the next question because I didn't get a register on the Stream Deck. Now, if that gap is less than a second, I'm happy to let it slide. If it's more than a second, then I think, rightly, we need to redo the final section of this heat. And it might be all for the same result, but I think we need to do this properly. Defending you here, Jack. defending your right to have a valid toy. Because say, and this is actually, it's in the rule book. If the pause between a player answering and the host pressing the correct or condone button is deemed to be too pronounced, then a partial replay may be said. It does also say that if you you need to bear in mind that I do need to press the button, but this is one of those weird fringe cases where I pressed the button, but it didn't register. Right, so I'm being told 1.7 seconds was lost on the Lucy Pinder buzz, which, yeah, I mean, if we say 0.5 of that is regular time lost from reaction time, then we're around about the 1.2 second mark, and score agreeing on 1.7. I'm making a call. We're going to replay it. Jack, I'm going to give you 1.2 seconds back on. Unfortunately, I can't reinitiate this game because the game has stopped. So I am going to have to do a hard reset and we're going to have to whiz through it.
Remember your times.
Yeah, we'll note the times down in the adjudicator chat so that I can then fast track to it as soon as we get to round 2. Incidentally, Mark, when we get to you, because Jack did give me a right answer in time, I just made the error and lost in 1.2 seconds. So when we start, Mark, the clock is going to be on you.
It'll be my turn.
It'll be your turn. You'll have 26.28. Zeus, you'll have 8.88. And Jack, you'll have 1.7. In by about 0. I'm going to say barely out, but listening to the tape, I was saying about 0.3 seconds to go, and I count about 0.4 seconds off, so 1 second. Okay, so adjudicators are telling me the most accurate representation will be 1 second. So basically what I said a minute ago. So we're going to stop the build and reload it. It will mean I'll need to check which question we're up to so we don't lose any. 3086 is where we're up to. So let's restart this. In fact, what I'm going to do is actually skip opening titles as well so we can fast track. And 3086, I'll give us a couple of questions grace. So 3083.
Thank you to Mr. Bodicum's Bible for telling me about DL and Pasco.
Ah, yes. Amazing way you pick these things up, isn't it? So I need to put you in the right order as well. So Zeus, you're on the left, Jack was in the middle, and Mark was on the right. Hopefully this is a question we've seen. It is.
Yeah, chess.
Yeah, I know it's chess. I'm just trying to work out. So I need to give Zeus the least amount of time, Mark the most. Right. That was Zeus's question. Right, so at this point, I need to let Zeus's clock run down a little bit. Let's go to 3084 so we don't get extra questions. So Zeus has run below Jack, which is correct. Hopefully this will now cycle the question again if I go correct. So you're now in the right order, and we're back to the shuttlecock question. I'm going to put it back just a bit more. I'm going to speed it up so that this goes real quick. Okie dokie. So you should be now in the right order. Right, I'm going to start the game. And immediately go to an emergency stop. That question will be lost. Can you remember, was the question after this was the one you got right? It was New Zealand, wasn't it, Jack? So we do need to iterate by 1. We need to go to timer control, and we need to set Zeus to 8.88. We need to set Jack to 1. We need to set Mark to 26.28, and we need to set the active clock as Mark on podium 2, force timer update. This is where we are. Now, this is where we left off, and it might have been for nothing, Jack. If it gets around, if Mark and Zeus can both survive here, then it's as it was. But I think in the interest of doing this properly, because it was host error rather than your delay, this is how we're going to do it. Thank you for your patience in the chat, and thank you adjudicators for your diligence behind the scenes, and thank you players as well for your patience. Good luck to you all. Mark, your time is going to continue, and that time will continue in 3, 2, 1. Mark, what U is a general term for an implement or vessel particularly applied to one
Utensil.
Correct. Zeus, what were the first names of the cheerleading twins from the UK TV show Funhouse?
Pass.
It's Melanie and Martina. Which Paul Simon album shares its name with the mansion Elvis Presley bought in Graceland? The London School of
Whoa!
And that is why we had to do that. Because it was a host error. It wasn't Jack's fault that he lost a second there, and it was close enough that a pass. Had the times been substantially different, I'd probably have just called it at that point, but it's not without precedent. And Zeus, I'm really sorry to have to do that to you.
Okay, these things happen. I noticed the long pause there, so I think it's completely fair.
It was. I mean, it failed to register on the stream deck when I hit the X button, and Jack did lose time. That wasn't his fault. It was it was a pronounced pause. It was more than his. It was outside of tolerance. Which and to be fair, this has not been without precedent. There was actually in the final of last year's. I don't know if you saw it in the final of last year's. There was something between Keshi and Lupine. I think I condoned an answer from Lupine, who'd actually said it incorrectly, and then the times ran out. And then we read, and I think Keshi had been eliminated, but then on the replay, Lupine got eliminated or something. So it was, it's not without precedent in the highest pressure situations, but I'm sorry it's happened to you here. But take solace in the fact that you are already guaranteed through to the playoffs, and you couldn't have gone through automatically anyway. So it's... and also, you can go to bed now if you want to, or you can stay and watch the rest of it.
Love Island's just finished, so I've got to catch up on that now.
Okay, good stuff. With that.
I have a theory anyway. I think you just wanted to watch Jack suffer in his poorly state.
That is a lie. I do not relish any sort of Schadenfreude from other people's misfortune. Not even yours in this case, Zeus. Not
That avatar, the cat, has more than one life.
Very good, very good. Well, Zeus, it's an unorthodox end to the heat, but I'm afraid it is where the journey ends for you. But we will see you in the playoffs, and we'll see what the leaderboard says at the end of this heat. For now, it is goodbye. Thank you for playing, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
Thank you. See you at the playoffs.
So, Jack and Mark survive through an unorthodox, rather unusual round 2. Mark with the most time, so will stay where it is. Jack will stay on the left with just a second left. Let's go to round 3. Well, that was, I think, safe to say, Jack, that could be described as a controversy. But
I was going to joke, I should play While Terribly Ill more often.
I also think, though, much as I love Zeus, I think I made the right decision in going back and giving you the time back, because it was just close, and I would say all it took was two incorrect answers from Zeus there to turn it around. And so I don't know if you're sort of feeling slightly guilty. I don't think you should do so please don't. If you do, it is within the metrics of the game. I
think it's one of those situations where everyone feels a bit bad.
Just grateful
can't really be avoided.
I'm just grateful I had the adjudication team on standby, so it wasn't just me making calling the shots. But you are through to the final, so you still got a chance of getting to these playoffs, Jack. A win here would get you through to the playoffs. A runner-up would not.
I came in thinking against this heat, this competition, I'd be happy to take away 1 point and throw a spanner in the works. This is much better than I thought I would do.
Well, it does all come down to this. Wish you the very, very best of luck.
Thank you. Good luck, Mark.
Thank you. You too.
So, Mark, again, a controversial heat. Not really much controversy from on affecting your particular podium, but thank you for your patience in sitting through that, and thank you for your forbearance with that. Another final. Back for another final. How are you feeling about this one?
Pretty good, but if Jack gets lucky again, I'm not sure.
At this point, you're up to 13 points, which is not a guarantee of the final, but a win here might very well be. I think a runner-up here would probably not, although it is potentially still possible because of the way the scores are. I can't quite remember what they are just now. But a win here would put you with a very good chance. It would still be possible for you to not automatically qualify, but it would give you a very, very strong chance of doing just that. So I wish you the very best of luck.
I'll just do a bit of scoreboard watching afterwards.
It will be a bit of scoreboard watching. The last 2 heats are going to be very, very interesting. Jack and Mark, best of luck to both of you. Jack, you had the least amount of time left on your clock, so you will be answering questions first. And Jack, your time starts now. Jack, the London School of Economics and Political Science is usually abbreviated to... Correct. Mark, I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts was the theme tune. Correct. Jack, in The Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare, what is the profession of the character Shylock?
Merchant.
I don't think that's right.
I have no idea.
It's moneylender. It's moneylender,
isn't he?
He's moneylender. Merchant is, thank you, Panda, confirming merchant is not moneylender. I haven't done Merchant of Venice in ever, so
Antonio's the merchant.
Of course he is, Antonio. There we go. So
yeah, I just panicked and merchant was the word still in my head.
Jack's still going to be with you in time, continuing in 3, 2, 1. Which word for a little farm animal is a childish word for a toe?
Piggy?
Correct. Mark, with the initials RP, which best-selling novelist wrote the books Chelsea, Rosamund Pilcher? In the media, the abbreviation ITC stands for Independent Television what?
Council?
Commission. The Bay of Pigs invasion took place in which year?
62?
61. Which letter occurs twice in a week, once in a year, but never in a day or a month? Is correct. Jack, someone who abstains from drinking alcohol is often said to be on his vehicle. No, wagon. Distinguished by having a body usually covered with feathers, the class Aves is better known by what name?
Bird?
Yes. Mark, Leonardo da Vinci's drawings of an aircraft using a spiral air screw anticipated which rotor-driven mode of transport? Correct. Jack, the towns of Grassington and Mulham are in which English national park?
Lake District.
That's the Yorkshire Tales again. Which US state borders only one other US state?
Maine.
Correct. Mark, in what year was Discord initially launched by Jason Citron? 2015. Which motorway passes closest to Luton and Milton Keynes? The M1. Team Cherry developed which 2017 Metroidvania set in the world of Hollow Knight. In economics, what F are commodities, currencies, or securities bought or sold for delivery? Correct. Jack, which title for former rulers of Russia is derived from the Latin for Caesar? Correct. Mark, who had a hit single in 1967 with Release Me? Engelbert Humperdinck. Which presidential retreat in the Appalachian Mountains was originally named? Correct. Jack, the islands that make up Melanesia and Micronesia.
The Pacific.
Correct. Mark, the soldier and statesman Simon Bolivar led revolutions against Spanish
South America.
Correct. Jack, in 1957, who became the oldest footballer to play for England, age 42?
Pass.
Stanley Matthews. Which name is given to foreign sales of services such as tourism, insurance and banking rather than of goods?
Pass.
Invisible exports. Which British Prime Minister was the only one to be assassinated?
Percival.
Correct. Mark, which 1980 sitcom featured the characters Ted Bovis and Gladys Pugh? Heidi High. What Sea is a West Indian style of 1950s song that deals with the... Correct. Jack, the famed annual Mardi Gras parade is held in which Australian city?
Melbourne?
No, it's Sydney. A place where computers can be accessed for free, which sells drinks and snacks, is called
Internet
a
cafe.
Is it cyber internet cafe? Cyber cafe?
I've been caught by the end of the question again.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a ruling, but I don't particularly like your chances. I will go for a ruling, though. So you did say the correct answer in your answer, but it's not like if you say a full answer where what you say is also part of the question, that's kind of fine. But I don't know if this is going to fly because that's not a common expression as far as I'm aware, but I will defer to the adjudicators.
Yeah, I'm not disputing it, it's just the caught by the end of the question.
Yeah. That was in the question, though, too. All of that was in the question. Is the only difference there? I'll defer to you guys. Okay, that's two. Two have voted. One more. Panda. We have got a difference of opinion, but we do have a majority. 2-1 are saying that yes, that should be accepted as a correct answer. So I will defer to the majority of the adjudication team. So that will be marked as a correct answer. And Mark, the clock is going to be with you, and it is going to continue in 3, 2, 1. Which eccentric English fashion designer produced her controversial bondage collection? Correct. Jack, which three-letter word for a joke can also mean something put in the mouth to prevent it? Correct. Mark, what C is the term for something like a part of a sleeve or glove that encircles the wrist?
Cuff.
Correct. Jack, which word can mean a pale red colour or any plant or flower in the carnation family?
Pink.
Correct. Mark, the title of the 1957 novel by John Wyndham is The
Pass.
Midwich what? Cuckoos. Who wrote the novel Daniel Deronda?
Pass.
George Eliot. What relation was James II of England to Charles II?
Brother.
Correct. Jack, the flag of Japan features a white background with a circle of what
Red.
colour? Correct. Mark, in 2001, which Spanish singer released the album Escape?
Glacius.
Correct. Jack, which book by Jane Austen did J.K. Rowling claim to be one of her favourite books of all time?
Pass.
Emma. Ikebana is the Japanese art of arranging what?
Flowers.
Correct. Mark, what is 3/4 of 600?
450.
Correct. Jack, which Australian port in the state of Victoria is named after a British Prime Minister?
Pass.
That's Melbourne. Duncan, Malcolm and Banquo are characters from which Shakespeare play?
Macbeth.
Or the Scottish play, correct. Mark, which country was formerly known as Ceylon or Ceylon?
Sri Lanka.
Correct. Jack, which element with the chemical symbol Ca is the most abundant metallic element in the human body?
Calcium.
Correct. Mark, who wrote the novel 1984?
Orwell.
Correct. Jack, what nationality is opera singer Placido Domingo?
Italy.
No,
Italian.
he's Spanish. The study of animals, plants and minerals is sometimes referred to as what sort of history?
Natural.
Correct. Mark, which acid has a chemical formula HCl?
Hydrochloric.
Correct. Jack, which Russian Tsar was assassinated in 1918?
Nicholas II.
Correct. Mark, which Latin word meaning peace has passed into a school slang term for calling a truce?
Pass.
Correct. Jack, the Great Slave Lake from the Mackenzie River flows is situated in which country?
US.
It's Canada. We can't go back
Canada.
on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's twice. That's twice the Tsars were killed.
yes, they've come up twice in one heat. And also, it's quite interesting, the answer has been Yorkshire Dales twice in this round, in this heat, and twice the answer given has been the Lake District. I mean, they're relatively close by. A couple of little controversies at the end there, which didn't run to a stop. I heard you. I could hear you were forming carbon on that calcium question, but you didn't complete the answer, and that precedent has been set. So the first full answer you gave me was calcium, which was right. Mark, is it Ceylon or Ceylon?
Ceylon.
Ceylon. Okay.
Ceylon.
Ceylon. That's like a solution. It's a drip you get in your arm.
And you said HCI. It's HCL.
Oh, it was HC1. It was HCL. Uppercase, lowercase, throwing me off. Well done for managing to see through it there. Jack, I think that might be the first politics question you've got wrong.
Which one was it again?
Which Australian port in the state of Victoria is named after a British Prime Minister?
It's the port that threw me off. It's
sort of tangentially politics, isn't it? Oh, well, I'll tell you what, Jack, you gave it a bloody good go. You've left Mark with just 16 seconds.
Very happy to have got out like that.
Well played. I'll see you next time.
Unfortunately,
I will be back. I've enjoyed this very much. Thank you.
So, well, it's been a pleasure having you here, and sadly, we do have to say goodbye to you from the tournament because not enough points. But it's you leave with your head held high, a very valiant second place and 2 points. Jack, it's been a pleasure having you here, and do get well soon. And best of luck with the other thing, and we'll speak to you again really soon, I hope.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Which means our champion for the third time in this tournament is Mark. Well done, sir. For another 4 points, back at the top. Nice way to finish off your run in the heats. How did you? Were you sort of happy with that? I mean, there were a couple of moments where it sort of felt like it might all come unraveling.
It was. I was watching the clocks through the game, and we were within a second of each other, plus or minus.
It was tight. It was very, very tight for a lot of that. I imagine you probably want to know what's happening with the boards at this point, don't you?
No, I think I know. I'm tied for second at 15.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah.
Mark thinks tied for second at 15. You're not. You're top.
Top spot.
Top, yes, top but. And that is the question. You've got Mark and Derek behind you with the game in hand. Colo is the only other player with a game in hand, but he who's sort of within reach, but he cannot achieve 15. It's Mark and Derek now, and it is going to be on them as to whether or not you get through to the final. And I will add that Mark and Derek are not in the same heat. So that does give a modicum of extra difficulty because they could both potentially get 4. But right here, obviously, if Mark gets 2, he overtakes. Derek would have to get 4. He would have to win to go to the top. So if Mark comes first or second and Derek comes first, then you will be going into a playoff. But as it is right now, you are top of the league. A great play, Mark, and another victory added to your belt. Always good to have you here. Very well done. We will see you at the very least in the playoffs, if not in the final. Well played again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
So, just before we wrap this up and go and have a nice game of the Hive, Panda, can you give us the view on the exit poll? Thank you for your double duties as both statistician and adjudicator in that one. There was quite a bit to do in that heat. There's some that nothing happens, and there's some where you've got to do all of the adjudicating.
Yeah. This was a very interesting match. Very busy behind the scenes.
Yes, indeed.
What's Chad has mentioned.
Sorry, go on.
Chad has mentioned correctly that Claire is showing with 6 played games as a result of the
good
replay.
stop.
So
yes, that will have been because no points are iterated. It won't have affected the scores or the points at all, and because we're not tying time over, that won't actually be an issue. We'll just display incorrectly there. I will manually edit that if I remember to do that in the player press at a later date. But thank you for pointing that out to me. Claire has indeed only played 5 and is on 6. So, exit poll. What does the result of that heat mean for players, both in the heat and not in that heat?
Well, if we look up at the top, as you mentioned, Mark is currently sitting on the top with 15. Derek can surpass with a win. Mark will actually surpass with a single point, as Mark with a K did defeat Mark with a C in their head-to-head. Well, and there is no chance for a 3-way tie, so it would definitely come down to the head-to-head. So, a single point for Mark puts him immediately into the finals. 4 points for Derek puts him immediately into the finals. If they don't both make it, then Mark with a C will go directly to the finals.
Okay, so that's what the top's looking like at the moment. Talk to us about players guaranteed into the playoffs. Is there a new cutoff point?
It does not appear so. It's still somewhat ambiguous between 7 and 8, depending on if Binzi takes the 4 points he needs and what Anonyman and Samster end up doing. Obviously, 6 points is not going to cut it because either Samster or Anonyman will score a point and they play each other.
Right.
Thus, 7 at least is going to be the cutoff, but it could... looking at it, actually, it looks like 7 is going...
We've got a result coming in.
If Anonyman and Samster both score at least 1, and Binzi scores 4, then 7 may not be enough. So 7 or 8 is still kind of the cutoff point.
Is a cutoff. Is there a guarantee? Yep. Is 9 a guarantee at this point?
Yes, 9 is a guarantee. So Inca is in and can't get himself into the finals with 9 points. Colo, I believe, lost to Mark. So yes. If he gets the 4 and everybody above gets 0s, I don't think that's enough, but I would have to double check that. So that's kind of where we stand going into the last 2 matches.
And in terms of players who can no longer progress at this point, obviously we had a chat with Jack. We already knew about Topper and Liam. Is there anyone else who at this point can no longer progress?
Actually, no. If Binzi can pull off the 4, puts him at 8, he's in probably a pretty safe spot. Anonyman and Samster are kind of sitting on that 6 bubble, but one of them's going to obviously pull ahead. So Liam is out. The people who are in the red with 5 games are out, but other than that, it's still kind of up in the air.
So Claire also an exit from the tournament off the back of this result as well.
Correct.
So in the red, it's Samster and Benzi are going to need a very specific result. In the yellow, Anonyman, Ralph, and Arun. No, Arun has played. Arun is on everyone else, as has Ralph. So they're on everyone else's good graces. So Anonyman could do with some more points if he wants to guarantee it. Inca and Zeus guaranteed in the playoffs. Colo, but can't progress. Colo guaranteed in the playoffs, but cannot get an automatic through. David cannot get an automatic through, and Derek could get an automatic through.
That sounds correct, yes.
So a lot of this has already been determined, and we're getting a raid just in time for the Hive. Here's the noise. Quizzy Dan with the raid just in time for the statistics at the end of day 2 of Heat 2 of day 5 of Face Off. Welcome, Aqua Solis, Quizzy Dan, and Clemson Pokenuts, Jake A, Foggy Broom, and Tebow Bear. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us, Dan. Thank you for that raid. Do stick around. We're playing the Hive in just a minute. You're going to really enjoy it, and it's good to have a lot of people so you can play just casually along with it. Panda, thank you as ever for that exit poll right there. We look forward to the full statistical analysis in the Discord in the next day or so, probably, maybe.
Definitely.
And get a couple of days off now, so no face-off Thursday, no face-off Saturday. The final 2 heats will be next Tuesday and the following Thursday. That's what we've got to look forward to. And
plenty of time to find some more questions about Dallas.
Absolutely. I dare say we'll chat behind the scenes, Panda. Thank you as ever for your diligence and all your work here. I'm very grateful to you for coming on just now as well.
No problem. Thank you.
Elias the Panda, our statistician right there, with the immediate aftermath of that heat. You can tell it's all hotting up, and take these bars with a grain of salt, because as we know, Inca Inca and Zeus may or may not be that way round, and other things as well. Say, and of course Claire hasn't actually played 6, so it's all still a bit interesting right now. But for this heat, Ryan Jakirk 92. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you. For now, that is going to be it for Face Off. But we have still got the Hive and its Bitter Otters pack, and it's a tricky pack. So we need as many Hive Minds as we can get. But I'm sure we'll have some fun with it. The Face Off day belongs to Mark, or the heat rather than the day, belongs to Mark, and we'll have to wait and see if he's done enough to get to the final. Stick around, because after the break, we've got the Hive. There's the uppercase that we were after. To have the case randomise each tie, that could be fun. Right, it is looking to be quite a late stream. I didn't think it would be tonight, but that's the way it goes. I'm currently doing the schedule for Season 8. Things are going to be curtailed a little bit, but it's the Hive coming right up after the break. My favourite game. It is my latest full experience game that we still play on a regular basis. So if you want to play the Hive, do stick around. If you want to be in the hot seat, remember you need a microphone and access to the Discord, which you can come and join right there. But if you just want to be in the Hive mind, you can play along for fun, and it would be great to have you. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the third and final part of game night this Tuesday evening. Am I sharing the right screen? I hope I am. Yeah, screen 2, that's what we want. It's the Hive. It's my latest. It's my personal favourite. And if you want to play Bitter Otter's question pack, I think only the second question pack they've written for the community. It is a little bit on the tricky side, but such is the nature of this game that doesn't necessarily kill you in the water if you're in the hot seat because of how it works and the ability to mistrust the Hive. Oh, can you see me? No, you can't. Now you can, Colo. I'm still here, don't you worry. Thank you for letting me know. Did I unmute notifications? Yes, I did. And Dan, thank you again for that raid earlier on. Lovely to have you all over from Quizzy Dan's channel. I hope you've had a good evening. Was it Puzzle Boat tonight or was it Cryptic Crosswords? I can't remember. But I saw it on the Twitters earlier on. But you're all very, very welcome if you're still here. And it would be lovely to have you taking part in the Hive. And if you would like to play in the Hive, a reminder that if you want to play just in the Hive mind, if you don't want to play in the hot seat, then you don't need to join this lobby. This lobby is just for the hot seat players. And if you just want to play in the Hive mind, you can join the game at any time just by whispering to the bot. You do not need to join this lobby, which is why there is no exclusion method. So if you join this lobby, there is a chance that you might be picked. You need to be in the Discord, you need a microphone to be able to come and speak to me, and you need to type in this code. KVPG. Zeus, I thought you were going to bed. Not that I'm unhappy to see you. As I recall what you said. Oh, sorry, son. Sorry. I don't say you were going to bed. It's fine. I'm very, very glad that you are still here. Love having you here. I'm going to manifest you into the hot seat now. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Oh, you like me more than Love Island. Thank you, mate. I like you more than Love Island too. Mind you, I probably like disembowelment with a blunt spoon more than Love Island, to be honest. But there it is. Anyway, only got a handful of players in the lobby, but a reminder, this is just for players who want to play in the hot seat. If you're not, I'm hoping that there's a lot more players who are sitting in the wings, just want to play in the Hive mind. If you're not picked, incidentally, from this gamut of players down here, then you will be automatically in the Hive mind, and I do hope that you'll play along there. I remember there are medals, gold, silver and bronze for the top 3 Hive players, and a leaderboard score for the person who is the Queen Bee, whatever score that they get. This is a pack from Bitter Otter. It's a little on the tricky side, but we should have a lot of fun, and it gives us a lot to talk about. So, oh God, something's gone down the wrong way. Oh God, I'm going to die. Don't die. Don't die, Ben. Come back to us. Right. Let's manifest a player. Is that the end of the loop? No, I think it's just started again. Well, I'm not going to wait for the whole thing to go around. Here we go. Let's lock it up and pick ourselves a Queen Bee. Odd Garrett, you are in control of the Hive. Welcome. You are our Queen Bee for this evening. If you would like to make your way towards the green room, and Colo will sound test you and bring you into the broadcast studio. Just getting some sound tests going on. There we go. Odd Garrett.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Yeah, ticking along. A little bit warm, such as the God, that's such a British thing to say. How are you? Immediately start talking about the weather. Yeah, a little bit warm, but broadly good. Now, first thing I need to ask you, do we call you Odd? Do we call you Garrett? Because I think I've taken to calling you Garrett in the...
That is fine. I'll answer to anything that sounds normal.
Vaguely
OG, in your... some people call me, but whatever.
OG, okay. I think I'll probably sit with Garrett. I've gotten into the habit of that now. I think this is the first time you and I have spoken with words that aren't text.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched you play pool, but that's about it.
Yes, I would have been concentrating on my angles there and occasionally talking to chat, probably not as much as I should. But it's lovely to have you here, and welcome on in. Have you seen the Hive before?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with the rules.
Yeah, although I'm not particularly looking forward to my first showing being a particularly difficult question set.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll be here all the way with you to help out where I can, obviously without giving you the answers. For anyone who maybe hasn't seen the Hive before or wants a quick refresher of the rules, there are 4 phases, and in each phase there'll be a board of 4 questions. Odd Garrett will be controlling which questions he sees and which questions he does not. For each question in the phase, the answers increase with each subsequent question. So the first question of the phase will have 2 options, then 3, then 4. The question that Garrett doesn't use in each phase will be sent to the final phase, which we'll talk about a bit more later on. But the salient point is that, Garrett, you won't be able to answer the questions that you choose not to play on each of the respective boards. 20 points for the first question that Garrett gets right, and thereafter increasing by 10 for every subsequent question. You also score points in the Hive Mind by whispering A, B, C, D or E to Persephone's Twitch bot, and you get points for every player who gets it wrong in the Hive. So let's say 20 players answer and only 1 gets it right, they would get 19 points for all the players who got it wrong, plus 1 for a total of 20. The way that Garrett answers is a little bit different as well. At each phase, Garrett's going to face 3 questions, and he can choose to either answer himself twice. He can trust the Hive, which assumes the majority of the Hive or plurality of the Hive will give a correct answer, or he can mistrust the Hive and assume that plurality will not get the correct answer. That way, a number of tactics can be employed in thinking, this is a hard question, I don't think I'm going to know the answer to this, but I also don't think the Hive will know the answer to this, and thereby play the game in that way. He still gets points for making the right decisions even if he doesn't know the answer. Only way you can get points in the Hive though is by whispering the correct answer to the bot, and make sure it is to the bot and not in the chat, though I will make it emoji only during the question answering phase. A little bit complicated, but you'll get the hang of it. The salient fact lobby is that you need to whisper A or B or C or D or E when the question is on display, and Garrett, you just need to talk to me and be splendid.
I'll try.
Good stuff. Great to have you with us, Garrett, and the very best of luck. Let's play the Hive. So here we go, into phase number 1, this pack from Bitter Otter. And the first question board is, which of these albums came out earliest? Which of these animated movies has the highest worldwide gross as translated into 2022 currency to account for inflation? Which of these roads is longest? Which of these countries has the most bordering countries? So we've got music, movies, geography, and slightly different geography there. Anything leaping out at you?
None of these are particularly my categories, but I'm thinking in terms of like what's going to come up in terms of like the numbers of options or what those kind of answers are going to be.
So it'll be 2 for this first question, 2 options, which different strategies can be employed. You might think, I want the hardest one to have 2 options because I'll be more likely to find a right answer and I can attempt it myself. Or you might want to save the hard questions for the end game and not attempt them, or you might want to save them for the 4 and assume the Hive's going to get it wrong. So a lot of different things to think about. Yeah,
I feel like the Hive are probably going to be stronger on questions like number of bordering countries. That feels like a very trivia-ish kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with the movies question.
Okay, we'll start with the movies question. You get 2 options, 20 points if you can make the right decision here, Garrett. In the Hive, you'll get 2 options, A or B. You've got about 20 seconds to get your answers in. Nice and quiet from you, Garrett. First of all, this question is for the Hive in the first instance. Here it is. Which of these animated movies has the highest worldwide gross adjusted for inflation? The Nightmare Before Christmas or The Pirates Band of Misfits? Time. Okay. 19 players have attempted this in the Hive, so that's a decent cross-section of the audience giving it a go. Any ideas yourself, Garrett?
Well, I think I would probably have to go for The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's definitely the more... it feels like the more well-known film. Certainly is on TV more often than I've seen pirates show up. So... I think I'm confident enough to to take this one myself.
Okay, it will still leave you all 3
it's-
options for the next question.
Yeah, it's not. I'm certainly not certain about it, but on balance, I would go with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Should we lock in A?
Lock it in.
Let's lock it in. So Garrett must answer at least one and use the Hive at least once on each question. In each phase. Green if you're right in the Hive, red if you're not. Strong start. Only 2 points if you gave me a right answer, because everyone other than I think Oni gave me a right answer on that one. So 2 points, 95% of the Hive getting the right answer. Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, adjusted for inflation, it's roughly $182 million compared to Pirates, which is only 154. More than I might have thought, actually. The only other answer, a couple of answers there that could have caused some turmoil. Chicken Run, which would have been the highest at 377 million, and Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit at 287 million. They didn't come up, so no drama there. Good start. You've got some points on the board. Oh yeah, let me undo. Let the chat. Sorry, chat. I forgot to let you chat. Let's go back to the board. Good start. 30 points for the next one. 3 options to be displayed. Where are you going to go?
Yeah. I'm going to take the roads question, because I think that is definitely going to be the toughest with more options.
Okay. What are you anticipating showing up, do you think?
I mean, judging by the way the night's going, it's going to be motorways.
Okay.
But I don't know. What other roads could it be? It's going to be like UK motorways, UK A roads, or possibly just like world's longest roads or something like that, maybe.
Let's take a look. Hive, over to you. 3 options to be displayed. Let's get Garrett some more points. Which of these roads is longest? Abbey Road, London; Hollywood Boulevard, California; White Rim Road, Utah. Time. Reminder, if you're just joining us now, you can join the Hive at any time simply by whispering to the bot. What you were expecting? Not what you were expecting?
I mean, it makes sense. I don't think I would have ever picked it to be such disparate roads like that, but I guess that makes it a little easier for me because I'm not going to be answering this one myself.
Okay.
I think if I was going to guess, I would probably guess White Rim Road. I think I've heard that like Hollywood Boulevard is not as long as you would expect, or possibly it's just not as pretty and prestigious as you'd expect from I believe it's where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is. Mm-hmm. Abbey Road, I mean, I live in London, but I haven't been there. The most I've seen is...
That feels like a missed opportunity. Sorry, chat, I forgot to undo your chat again. I've undone it now. Sorry, Garrett.
The most I've seen of Abbey Road is the webcam that shows people walking across the zebra crossing continually.
Nice.
Which is an interesting stream to have on in the background sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like it's I know it's not just like a short road, but I don't get the impression it's going to be that long, and certainly not as long as something that would be around the rim of something, which I'm guessing White Rim Road would be.
It sounds very much like you're talking yourself into it, but you've said you're not going to answer it yourself.
Well, I guess what I'm talking myself into is trusting the Hive on it.
Oh, you think the Hive would know this?
I mean, so that leaves me with...
That would leave you with
two options. That leaves me with is either knowing something myself, or the Hive getting something wrong.
Correct.
And thinking of the categories that are left.
Yeah. What do we have left? We had bordering countries, and we had something else. I've forgotten because the borders are on display.
It was about the album, which is the earliest album.
Oh, our earliest album. That was it.
Now I am talking myself into answering this one.
Leave yourself both options with the Hive, depending how it pans out. It's up to you.
Exactly. You know what? I'm gonna answer C. I think
you're gonna play.
If this had more options, then I would probably be a little worse for it. But I think unless Abbey Road is unexpectedly long. Oh man, it's tough.
So I say we're here on question 2 of 17.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
long way
Let's
to go.
lock in C. Let's lock in
You're going to
C.
play yourself.
There's a long
Sure?
way to go. Yes.
We'll play C, White Rim Road, Utah. Let's lock that in. You are bound by the Hive on the next question. You won't be able to answer it yourself. Let's take a look in the Hive and see how they play. Green if you were right, red if you weren't. Correct answer. Trusting the Hive there would have just given you the right answer there. Yes, the plurality of the Hive were correct, 42%. 12 points if you did give me the right answer to that in the Hive. Yeah, White Rim Road, I think it's one of those big, long, windy ones. And it's 114.6 kilometres long. You're right about Hollywood Boulevard, only 7.4 kilometres, and Abbey Road, only 1.4 kilometres. Other options that may have thrown a spanner in the works, the Champs-Élysées in Paris, which is 1.91 kilometres, and Broadway. This one didn't come up, and you're probably quite glad. Broadway, New York City. It's 53 kilometres long. Could have been quite an interesting one to add a spanner to the works, but didn't come up. So you're all good, and you've got yourself another 30 points. Well done in the Hive if you got that. Let's go back to the question board.
Didn't know there were 53 kilometres in New York City.
Oh yeah, Broadway is vast. So we are left, and I'm now thinking, so yeah, that sounds like an awfully long way. But anyway, I'll go back and check it afterwards. But it was definitely 53 when I looked it up earlier.
I trust you.
Yeah. So we're left with which of these albums came out earliest? Which of these countries is the most bordering countries? There'll be 4 options. You can't answer yourself, but you can do with either option for the Hive, and it's worth 40 points.
I'm going to go straight in for the albums question and save countries for the end.
A reminder that the question you don't use, it goes to the final phase, and it will have 5 options attached to it, and you won't be able to answer it.
Perfect. That's exactly how I want a countries bordering countries question.
Okie dokie. Hive, over to you. Here is the question, the final question of the first phase. Which of these albums came out earliest? Led Zeppelin 2, Rumours, Help, Court and Spark. Time. Now, 20 players have answered this time. Do you know any of those albums? Not that you can answer it, but out of idle curiosity.
I don't know the years they came out. I mean, Rumours is Fleetwood Mac. Help, I guess, is the Beatles. Led Zeppelin is most likely Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
I haven't heard of Court and Spark, which definitely does throw a spanner into it. But I think the Hive are probably going to be pretty smart on music, and like the other 3 albums are certainly very notable albums.
What if you were playing? What would you say?
Well, I feel like Fleetwood Mac and Led Zeppelin are both like generally after the Beatles, so I would expect it to be at best a coin flip, or at worst a coin flip. So I would probably go for Help, just because it's the one I know. But this time around, I'm going to trust the Hive to pull this out.
Okay, we will trust the Hive. Curious, we've had 2 Beatles albums and 2 questions. Funny how things pan out. We're going to trust the Hive, which means when we use the Hive, we lock in the correct answer, which is indeed C, Help. 1960 something. We want to see lots of green here. Green if you're right in the Hive. Good results. 65% of the Hive giving a correct answer there. 8 points if you did give me C, Help in the Hive. 25% going for Led Zeppelin 2, 5% for Rumours, and 5% for Court and Spark. Court and Spark's Joni Mitchell. The other 3 were indeed the Beatles, Fleetwood Mac, and Led Zeppelin. Only other one that might have come up there was Songs of Love and Hate, which I think was that. I wrote it down and then deleted it for reasons. I think that was Bob Dylan. But yeah, Help 1965, Led Zeppelin 2 69, Songs of Love and Hate 71, Court and Spark 74, and Rumours 77. So, strong play. First phase, and you're yet to put a foot wrong. Let's just take a look at the Hive and see how they got on. across those 3 questions. Quite a number of people getting all 3 right, up to 22 points. Very well played. That does alphabetize you, but you're all currently tied for a gold medal. And Garrett, you're up to 90 points. It's the maximum available at this point of the game, and that is the end of phase 1. Good start.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Solid debut. Acing the first phase of the Hive. Not yet to put a foot wrong, making all the right decisions. Questions do broadly get harder, although they started pretty hard, has to be said. But they certainly get more interesting as we go from here. Ready for phase 2?
Sure, let's go.
Let's play on. 50 points for the first question. We'll start again with 2 options for the first question, and here's your board. Which of these Crayola crayon collections has the largest number of crayons in them? Which of these trophies is the largest by mass? Which of these bands who broke up and reunited announced that they were breaking up the earliest? Which league came first?
Well, I mean,
Slightly
league came
curvier questions,
first
the curvier ball questions in there.
Yeah, the league is such a generic question, and Crayola crayons is such a specific question.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Again, like I'm trying to think on which is gonna have the best options available. Like, I think I'm gonna start with Crayola crayon collections because I can't imagine those numbers are going to be well known enough where more options will be helpful.
Okay, we'll load that one up and give it to the Hive first. 2 options for you then, Hive. Here's a question. Which of these Crayola crayon collections has the largest number of crayons in them? Bunny & Company Pastel Pack US State Collection.
Time.
Yeah, very interesting question going into some very niche areas. 20 players attempted it in the Hive. Has that illuminated you any more?
So I'm a very casual quizzer, and I kind of decided that I'm never going to research. Like, I'm not the kind of person who's going to go into like lists of kings and queens and things like that. But 2 weeks ago, I did end up looking at a Wikipedia page on Crayola crayon collections. I don't remember either of these being in there, so it turns out my one piece of research is not useful even when the category comes up.
Getting lost in the forest of all knowledge, and this one isn't helpful.
Exactly.
Any inclination? Because you've got all 3 options available: trust, mistrust, or answer yourself.
I mean, you would be very surprised if the US State Collection didn't have 50 crayons in it. Unless it's reasonably old, then it might have slightly fewer. But Bunny and Company, I mean, I couldn't even imagine. There's probably fewer than 50 pastel shades that you would put in a single set. So with that in mind, I would probably be confident enough to pick US State.
You're going to play yourself?
I'm going to play B.
Okay, let's lock B in. And we'll go over to the Hive, and we'll see how they got on. Green if you were right, Hive. Red if you're wrong. Solid response. 85% getting the right answer. It was indeed US State Collection. 4 points if you gave me B in the Hive. And only 15% giving Bunny & Company Pastel Pack. Yeah. US State's actually got 64 crayons in it since 2004. And the Bunny & Company Pastel crayons just has 8. So that was the second largest and the smallest. So actually there's some good ins there and good logicking to get it out. Other options, you could have had Class Pack, which has got 400 because it's for a class. Metallic, which has got 24, and Valentine's Collection, which has got 16, which didn't come up. But strong play. You took the right answer there, and you've still got all 3 answering options available to you as we go back to the board. 3 options to be displayed. What's next?
I think the Hive is not going to like not going to be too keen on a sportsy question. I think
that could be a good reason to give it to them.
Exactly. Or like I'm also kind of thinking do I want to have a difficult 5-point question in the 5-option question in the final? Because
another thing to think about. Absolutely.
Help me place it in the rankings there. Let's go with League. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 options to be displayed for the Hive. 60 points if you can make the right decision. And Hive, over to you. Which league came first? Out of my league, League of Legends, the League of Gentlemen. Well, big pause from the Hive there as they think, well, what? This is taking a different direction. Time. That did go in a funny direction, didn't it? 19 answers from the Hive there. Any ideas what any of these are?
So League of Legends is is it Riot Games who do League of Legends?
I think it's Riot Games, yeah.
And League of Gentlemen, I'm imagining, is the BBC, the surreal BBC comedy series.
Starring Reece Smith and the other members of the League of Gentlemen.
Yes. And out of my league, I don't know, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Could be any... I mean, it kind of sounds sitcom-y, but it's not something I've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good spot to again trust the Hive. I feel like they'll. So I think League of Gentlemen is definitely earlier than League of Legends by a decade or two, and I think the Hive will probably know out of my league and be able to place it, whereas I will not be doing that.
Okay,
so, yeah, let's trust the Hive.
We'll trust the Hive. We'll lock in the correct answer. If you were going to play, what would you say?
I would say League of Gentlemen, just because I can imagine it being the out of my league being a more recent reference.
Absolutely right. It is the League of Gentlemen, but we have to see if the Hive thought that as well. Green, if you're right, Hive. We want to see lots of green here. Well, that's a good start. Very good. 7 points if you gave me the League of Gentlemen and the Hive. 68% giving the correct answer. Yeah, the League of Gentlemen, as you pointed out, satirical TV show starring Reece Smith. League of Legends, the 2000, and that was 1999, incidentally. League of Legends 2009 online Memorpaga, I think, created by Riot Games. Out of My League, it's actually a song. It's a song by Fitz and the Tantrums, released in 2013. Other options that could have come up there, and incidentally, they were the 3 most incorrect answers, if we're talking about which came first. Earlier than that, A League of Their Own, which was... Let's look at my notes. A League of Their Own
BBC Sports Quiz.
BBC Sports Quiz, which came out in... Where is it? I haven't got it on my notes yet. I must have it somewhere. Out of My League... I can't see it. It's somewhere on... 1992. There it is. And Broadway League would have been the other one, which was way back in 1930. So you got the 3 that were closest together, but you've deftly handled it. And Bitter Otter, welcome to the stream. It's your question back. It's a movie. What's... A League of Their Own. Oh, yes, it's also a 1992 movie. That's a US release. Oh, yeah, that's what the notes are. I couldn't see it on the notes, but... there's a film and a quiz as well, but either way, it didn't come up, so we don't need to worry too much about it. You have got the option of answering yourself on the next one or mistrusting the Hive. Let's go back to the board. Is it going to be trophies?
That's not a particularly nice choice to have.
Trophies or bands with 4 options?
I am going to go with bands, I think. We'll leave the trophies till the end.
Your trophies till the end. Okay, 4 options. Remember, you can't trust the Hive, but you can mistrust them. Hive, over to you. Which of these bands who broke up and reunited announced that they were breaking up the earliest? Pulp, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, or The Somerset? Time. Are you familiar with any of these? 19 answers in the Hive.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of the first... I know the first 3.
Okay.
Enough to roughly place the dates. I don't know the Somerset, which is a little annoying because that turns it into, again, a coin flip, and me getting it right or the Hive getting it wrong are not particularly appealing options.
So you think the Hive would know this?
Well, so Pulp, I grew up in the 90s, and Pulp were definitely like a, I don't know when they would have broken up and reunited. If they didn't meet up in the year 2000.
Yes, he said it. He said it. I was going to come and play it, but you've said it, so now I don't have to. Not a Cat, welcome to the stream as well. Yeah, let's all meet up in the year 2000. I love that song. This is a good song.
I feel like Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance. Maybe My Chemical Romance was around earlier, but I don't think. I just can't get the feeling that Pulp would have broken up and reunited before both of those. But because I haven't heard of the Somerset, that either puts them quite recent, or they're just in a category of music that I don't pay attention to. I think, unfortunately, the Hive would know it. So that means I am going to have to guess.
And what are you going to guess?
For that reason, I'm going to guess Pulp.
We'll lock in a Pulp. Let's see if your hunch was right. Did the Hive indeed know this answer? Green if you're right. They did, and so did you. Very well played. 74% of the Hive getting that one right. 6 points if you did give me a Pulp. Yeah, so Pulp broke up in 2002 and reunited in 2010. Fall Out Boy broke up in 2009, got back together in 2013. My Chemical Romance, March 22nd, 2013, and then got back together post-pandemic. And the Somerset broke up in 2015, also got back together post-pandemic, minus one member. The only other option up there that might have thrown a spanner in the works, or might have made it a much an easier decision, was the Spice Girls, who did indeed break up in the year 2000, and that's the second question in a row where we've not had the most correct answer on the board. But good decision to play that yourself. You've not had to mistrust the Hive yet, and the Hive have been on form. I don't think the Hive have missed a question as a plurality, and neither have you. You are on a perfect game so far. 2 phases and 3 questions correct on both of them. Let's take a quick look at the scores in the Hive, see how you got on there. It'd be me finding all 3, Zeus finding all 3, and we've got 5 players at the top who are 6 for... Oh, I don't know if they're 6... Well, they must be 6 for 6 if they're all tied at the top. Shapes, Lupine, Jers, It's Sotley and Claire doing very, very well with 6 correct answers in a row. Very well played. Garrett, you are up to 270 points. It's a good position to be in, and that's the end of Phase 2. So you feel you're sort of settling into the swing of it a little bit at this point?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the questions will get harder, but I'm definitely getting, I don't know, I'll probably second guess myself a whole load more.
Well, of course, the point reward starts to go up rather dramatically at this point. Just to let you know, top of the leaderboard at the moment is It's Sotley with 750. Of course, it's not just about accruing the points; it's about hanging on to them at the end. But you're doing fine so far. You've yet to put a foot wrong. Let's see what happens as we go to phase number 3. 2 options for the first one, 80 points available, and here is your board. Which of these animals has the most teeth? Which of these sports is featured as an official sport in the most modern Olympiads? Which of these fan fictions has the oldest source material? Which of these books is the oldest?
Double fiction.
Double fiction going on there.
Books is not necessarily... The last option is not necessarily fiction.
That's true, that's true.
I mean, again, like this is more out of my wheelhouse now, but I guess again, I'm thinking what the Hive will know. They'll be good with. I mean, they're both ages of books, aren't they? So I'm going to have to pick at least one of them.
Oh, ages of source material, not necessarily books.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So. Let's go with fan fictions and source material to start with.
Okay, 2 options for this. Over to you, Hive. Let's get Garrett another 80 points. Here is your question. Which of these fan fictions has the oldest source material? 10 Things I Hate About You or Our Flag Means Death?
Time.
21. We've got a new player. 21 players answering in the Hive. Do either of those mean anything to you?
I was hoping I would have some kind of recollection of either of these options, and I don't.
Aha. Okay.
So, because it's a two option question, and I generally think a hive mind is going to be smarter than a single person, I've got no option other than to trust them.
We're going to use our trust on the first question.
I know it's not something I'm particularly happy about, but I don't think anything else has. I think it's the best option I've got for the points.
Okay. If you were going to play, what would you punt at?
Our flag means death could be piratey, which is probably quite old. That's the only thing I would really have to go on, so I would go with B.
I can tell you that Our Flag Means Death is a piratey thing, but it's not as old as Shakespeare. The Taming of the Shrew, 10 Things I Hate About You. So, you would have been wrong, but were the Hive correct? Green if you're right. That looks good.
It's a Shakespeare option. The Hive are going to be good.
Yeah, Hive have got it. 10 Things I Hate About You, based on The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare, which was first printed and performed around... written 1590 to 1594, printed in Shakespeare's first folio in 1623. 76% of the Hive getting the right answer there. 6 points to you if you did. Very well played. You identified Our Flag Means Death. Blackbird and Stede Bonnet, Golden Age of Piracy, 1717-ish, so sort of early 18th century. Other options that might have thrown a spanner in the works, and there you have the two earliest. Damn Yankees, which is a comedic baseball musical from 1955 based on Faust, which is 1859. Elementary, which is the 2010 TV show based on Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, Study in Scarlet, written in 1892. And Partners in Crime, the most recent one up there, is a show from the 1980s based on Agatha Christie's Tommy and Tuppence series, first books of The Secret Adversary, written in 1929. So you have the two oldest ones in there. They were next to each other. Good decision to trust the Hive. It's often a very, very helpful, powerful play, and you've used it up, so you are going to have to answer at least one question. You can still mistrust them, but for now, let's go back to the board. 3 options for the next question, 90 points available. You're on a roll still, you're still yet to put a foot wrong. Where are you going next?
Let's take a sport question. I don't want to save too many sport questions for the end.
Olympiads?
Yeah.
Hive, for 3 options here, over to you. Which of these sports is featured as an official sport in the most modern Olympiads? Motorboating, solo synchronized swimming, tug of war. Time. 20 people playing this one. Do you recognise any of these from past Olympic Games?
To be honest, I spent most of that time trying to work out what solo synchronized swimming would look like.
Yeah, quite. I thought motorboating, when I was proofing it earlier on, that didn't occur to me why that could be funny, but I am assured it is to do with some form of water sport and nothing else.
I'm not sure that makes it much better, but I'm going to assume powerboating as a kind of synonym.
That sort of ballpark, yeah. It was the official motorboating / water motorsports.
Okay. I feel like I have heard of solo synchronized swimming, but I can't imagine that it's anything more than water dancing, and I'll probably annoy all of the hardcore solo synchronized swimming fans in the chat. But it doesn't sound like a thing that will have been there that much. Like tug of war is definitely sounds more long-lived. Motorboating, again, I don't remember seeing any kind of historical motorboating, but you can imagine it being in the Olympics. I'm just getting this in from Arun. I, a solo synchronized swimmer, am offended.
Well, pain all round on that one, I think. What are you thinking? Because you've got the option to mistrust the Hive if you don't think they'd know it, or you can take a punt yourself. Bear in mind, if you mistrust the Hive, you will have to attempt the third question on your own.
exactly. I think I'm gonna. This is like a educated guess, and I'm gonna go with tug of war, and I'm gonna take it myself.
Okay, we will lock in C, tug of war. Let's pop over to the Hive and see how they got on. Green if you're right, Hive. Good decision, and the Hive disagreed. The plurality of the Hive was actually a majority. Did go with solo synchronized swimming, 55% going with B. So actually a mistrust would have got you there as well, but you've got there under your own steam, so you've still got that mistrust up your sleeve potentially for the next question. Yeah, tug of war was the correct answer. 12 points if you did give me C, tug of war in the Hive. I'm so sad that town planning didn't come up. Town planning was in the architecture category for 4 games from 28 to 48. Solo synchronized swimming appeared in 3 games, tug of war in 6, and motorboating or water motorsports in just 1 in the 1908 Olympics. It was a demonstration sport in 1910, but wasn't an official sport. The only other option that might have come up there was rope climbing, which was in the first, not quite the first 5 games, 1896, 04, 06, 24, and 32 for a total of 5. But yeah, tug of war in 6 was the most correct answer that you could have had. Good decision to take that yourself and not to trust the Hive. Well, you couldn't have trusted the Hive. You could have mistrusted the Hive, but well done if you did give me C in the Hive. 12 points for you. One more question this phase, Garrett, and you are still yet to drop a point, yet to drop a question. 100 points available if you can make the right decision here. You can either answer yourself or mistrust the Hive. Is it going to be animals with teeth or books and their ages?
It's going to be animals with teeth, but I'm aware that I've got this this awful pairing of answer myself or mistrust the Hive. But I'll take it. Let's see how it goes.
But which book is the oldest? Obviously, you're going to go to the final phase. You won't get to answer that one. Let's see what the Hive make of this. 4 options for you, Hive, and here is the question: which of these animals has the most teeth? Banana slug, giant armadillo, bat-eared fox, or snails? Should be snail singular, 1 snail. Took a little while for the Hive to get to that one. 19 of them having a go in total. Are you up on your biology?
Not enough to be confident here. I was leaving this till the last question of this round, specifically because I thought it could be tricksy. And I think, even with smart minds, I think probably there's going to be some, confusing answers in here. So yeah, I wouldn't even have a clue. I would probably end up saying banana slug, just from the kind of, I don't know, there aren't trick questions here, but I certainly know that slugs...
No trick questions, but maybe answers you don't expect then.
Yeah. I know slugs, they get through a lot of, I guess, lettuces and vegetables traditionally, or maybe even bananas. But I'm not confident enough, so I'm going to be mistrusting the Hive, and I'm sorry, Hive.
It's perfectly valid options. So if you don't think the Hive would know it, we're going to mistrust the Hive. You said you would have said banana slug.
Yeah. With like 26% confidence.
You're absolutely... It would have been banana slug. So, we don't want banana slug to be the plurality. We want to see lots of red, and that is looking good. Yes, the plurality went with the bat-eared fox. 37% saying bat-eared fox. That was actually the lowest answer. The bat-eared fox can have up to 50 small teeth. The giant armadillo would have been next, having 1 long claw and between 80 and 100 teeth. Snails have around 25,500 teeth. The correct answer was the banana slug, which has 27,000 teeth on a tongue, and it is so called because if you Google it after the quiz, you'll see it is very much shaped like a very small banana. It does look not unlike a banana. Snails was the wrong answer, as was bat-eared fox. Right to mistrust the Hive, and very well done, Hive. If you did give me a banana slug, the 21% who did, getting themselves 16 points there. Good decision to mistrust the Hive. You've got yourself another 100 points. Let's take a look at the Hive scores at the end of phase 3. A couple of single answers, 1 and 2 there. There's a 1 and 3 from Zeus. And we've got 3 players who managed all 3 there. Arun, Cursed Toucan, and Lupine. And after that, we have finally broken the tie at the top. Lupine is leading with 73 points. Cursed Toucan is second with 66. And a tie between Arun and Claire on 57 at the moment. Garrett, you are up to 540 points. You have got every single question right so far. That is 9 questions in a row, which is pretty impressive, I have to say. But there is still more to do. One more phase before the final phase, but that is the end of phase 3. So I would call this a fairly solid debut.
I'm very happy. I think it's like equal parts obscure knowledge and tactics.
So I think it's more of a tactical game, I think, than perhaps other ones which are just straight trivia, particularly for you in the hot seat, because you've got those extra options to trust and mistrust the Hive. It is slightly more general knowledge, but there's a little bit of logicking about it for the Hive mind. But for yourself, I think, yeah, you're playing the game very, very well and using some really astute logic and some very smart tactics. We've got one more phase.
It's a game where an educated guess can be very useful, whereas like a lot of the straight trivia games, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, which is why I like it, and it's a lot of fun getting to have a chat with you and being a sort of sounding board for you as well. So that's always good fun. We have got one more phase. We're up to 540. We want to put a lot more into that, and if you could complete the Hive, you win the Hive, and then we could. No, I don't want to retire it because I love this game. But let's go take a look at phase number 4. 2 options for the first. 110 points available for the first question, and here is your board. Which of these stage adaptations of books had the most recent run based on its opening night? Apologies for the stray apostrophe. Which of these instruments is the holiest? On average, which of these birds' eggs weighs the greatest percentage of the bird's body weight? And which of these model villages is the oldest? I love this board, and some of these questions are going to require a little bit of a disclaimer at the front. So this first one, in fact, I'll tell you what, I'll let you do the talking, and as and when you pick a question, I'll give you more, or if you ask for it, I'll give you more details.
I'm really loving these questions. They're fantastic to think about. I mean, birds' eggs certainly doesn't need any explanation, I would imagine. Model villages, again, makes sense. Let's go with it. Explain holiest to me.
Okay, so on this question, it's not to do with which is the most sacred, it is to do with which instrument has got the most holes on it.
That makes sense.
So which instrument is the holiest?
Yes, I like it. Let's start off with stage adaptations, please.
Okay, so just to clarify on this question, which of these stage adaptations of books had the most recent run based on its opening night? The most recent run of the show from its opening night. So there may have been more than one run of the same show, but we're looking at the opening night of the most recent run, and we want to know which of those is the most recent. Is that the question you want to play?
Let's go with it.
Okay, Huds, welcome to the stream, my dude. I see your message. I will respond later on because I know how Discord works and how Messenger works. Psych. 2 options for you in the Hive. 110 points here, and here are your 2 options. And here is the question. Which of these stage adaptations of books had the most recent run based on its opening night? The Lightning Thief on Limited Broadway or American Psycho on the West End? Time. So that's a tricky question. 21 players answering in the Hive. Any strong thoughts?
My strong thought is that this was a tactical error to choose this question.
Yeah, possibly.
So the Lightning Thief, I can only imagine, is based on the Percy Jackson series of books.
It is.
American Psycho, I'm pretty sure the book is older, but that's obviously not the question, and I don't really know anything about the stage show that it's based on. Again, like I took it as a 2-option question just to try and hope that I would have some kind of inkling from it. I guess my thinking is which of these is likely to have had a more recent run, right? And I can imagine, like, Percy Jackson.
Essentially what the question is getting at.
Yeah,
which one
Percy
started
Jackson
most
books,
recently?
Like, it doesn't sound like a series of books that would have had like too many repeat runs, whereas American Psycho is, again, like, I'm judging it based on how well I know it, how much I've heard of it. Feels like it might have had repeat runs.
Right.
So, based on that, and based on wanting to leave other options open, I'm going to play American Psycho.
You're going to lock in B, American Psycho.
Lock in B.
Okay, we'll lock in B. And we'll see how the Hive played. Green if you were right in the Hive, red if you were not. Oh, it's the first one we've gone wrong on. Actually, the Hive were just about in the majority on the correct answer. The Lightning Thief had its most recent run more recently. 10 points if you gave me A in the Hive. Yeah, the Lightning Thief's most recent run, the opening night of it was September the 20th, 2019 on the limited Broadway run, whereas American Psycho's most recent run started on December the 12th, 2013. Was that's something different there. So yeah, December 12th, 2013. So yeah, Lightning Thief quite a lot more recently. Only other option there that might have come up that would have been even more recent than the Lightning Thief was The Life of Pi on the West End, which was November 15th, 2021. So, first error, but it was a punt on an area of not certainty, and on the plus side, you have left all three answering options open for the next two questions. Well done if you did get that in the Hive. Let's go back to the question board. Still 110 points available. Three options for the next question.
Yeah, and I think like taking a 50-50 there was definitely the right option. To leave those three options available. I am going to step in with. It's a choice between the instruments and the birds' eggs. To be honest, I kind of want to leave model villages.
You don't want to go near the model villages, okay?
Not just yet. And I'm going to go with eggs.
Eggs, okay.
Please.
So in this question, we are looking for which of the eggs has the greatest percentage of the bird that laid its body weight. Okay, so slightly tricky things. You've got to think about the size of the bird and the size of the egg respectively, and which of the options has the greatest percentage. Let's load in the question. Hive, over to you. Three options available, and here's the question. On average, which of these birds' eggs weighs the greatest percentage of the bird's body weight? Kiwi, green hermit hummingbird, Atlantic puffin. Time. I love this question so much. I thought this was a genius question. Because of course we generally know sizes of birds, but do we know the size of their eggs? And then of course we've got to make them relative to the other birds in the list. So let's talk me through these birds that we've got here.
Talk me through the birds.
Talk me through the birds.
I know that like hummingbirds are quite well known. Like they're quite extreme in terms of birds. I think they have a long, I want to say tongue for kind of darting in and getting nectar out of flowers. And I can imagine their eggs are tiny. The kiwi, I don't really know much about it. It's a funny looking bird. And
little thing, isn't it? It's not
exactly. I don't think I'm not sure if it's one of the flightless birds. I don't think I've ever seen any David Attenborough films with a flying kiwi. And I don't know much about puffins at all. I would probably guess that their eggs are quite big, but I'm not. When you put it relative to body weight, I don't know.
That's the thing, isn't it? So Arun saying in chat, I had a revered scientist tell me that puffins have fuck off big eggs once. That means, but I mean, they're not small birds though. Puffins. Well, I mean, relative to a seagull, then maybe. But so you've got all three options.
the only kind of relative size indication I have for a puffin is knowing that they were used as the basis for porgs in the.
So in Star Wars,
films.
in the Star Wars Awakens, yes, not the Star Wars Awakens, the Star Wars, no, it was in the Skywalker-y one, the third one. Star Wars: The Emperor's Back, lol. All three options are open to you, so you can either trust, mistrust, or you can take a punt yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to do a similar thing that I've done in the other rounds. I'm going to trust the Hive and leave myself with what I said originally were two bad options, but have been working out okay for me.
So you think the Hive would know this?
Yes, and if I was going to guess, I would probably take the puffin for the reason that Arun said.
Let's have a look.
Fuck off,
we're going to trust the Hive, and the correct answer is... It's actually the kiwi. I'll give you some more stats on that in just a minute. We want to see lots of green here, Hive. Did you give me kiwi? Green if you're right. Oh, no. Oh, that's not a good start. Ooh, wrong decision to trust the Hive there. 55% going with the green hermit hummingbird. I think you alluded to that. The hummingbird is tiny, but the eggs are even smaller. The green hermit hummingbird, the eggs are 0.16% of its body weight. They're tiny little things. The Atlantic puffin, 15% going for that. They are big eggs, but they're relatively big birds. 8.4% of the body weight of the Atlantic puffin. The kiwi, despite being very, very, very small, the egg is 15% of its body weight, and I've got to applaud the kiwi for such a feat, because that is a lot. Well done to the
female kiwis.
The female kiwis have a horrible time. Well done to the 30% of the Hive who went for kiwi. 15 points going to you. Very well played. Other answers that might have thrown a cat among the pigeons, so to speak. The Indian blue peafowl, which has an egg around 2.25% of its body weight, and the where's the other one? Is it a penguin? The emperor penguin, which, despite having huge eggs, is obviously a huge bird, 1.5% of its body weight. So, wrong to trust the Hive there. I'm afraid that is another one with no points. I'd say for once a trivia question I knew. Nice. Bad luck. Wrong decision there. But we've got one more question. You can mistrust or you can answer yourself. And which is it going to be?
We're going to go with model villages.
So we're leaving the instrument question to the end?
Yes.
I wonder what your strategy could be here. Let's find out. Hive, over to you with 4 options. Which of these model villages is the oldest? Mini Europe, Belgium, the model village Burton on the Water, Tobu World Square, Japan, Cockington, LOL, Green Gardens, Australia. Time. I've never been to a model village.
Really?
Yeah. Despite growing up in the Midlands, where it's sort of like a professional sport. Jack, don't know, don't care. Pain on this question. No, I've never been to one. Have you been to one?
I grew up on the Isle of Wight, which has a notable model village.
Oh, the Isle of Wight is a model village, isn't it? The only thing, I've been to the Isle of Wight twice, and possibly once in my life. The only thing I know about is that all the clocks stopped in 1953, and all the shops look exactly the same as they did back then.
They haven't started the clocks since then.
No, they haven't.
I think it was a slightly more nuanced strategy than you were alluded to, because I do want to. I thought the instruments question was a good one to carry through to the final.
Okay.
But I definitely think this will be confusing enough and niche enough that I would mistrust the Hive over any chance I have of getting this right,
Okay.
which is 0, which is very close to 25%.
Okay. If you were going to punt on one, what would you say?
I think Japan have been doing model things for a long time, so I would probably go with Japan over any of those.
Okay. Let's mistrust the Hive. First of all, we'll lock in the correct answer, which is the model village Burton on the Water. So you wouldn't have been right. Let's take a look and see if the Hive were. We want to see lots of red. Oh, that's quite a lot of green. Oh, Garrett. What's happened in
Now the
phase
mighty
4?
fallen.
9 in a row and then nothing in phase 4. Tricky questions and wrong decisions being made. Yeah, it's the model village Burton on the Water, which has been around since 1937. Mini Europe in Belgium opened in 1989. The Tobu World Square Japan is actually the most recent one of the options you could have had in 1993. And the Cockington Green Gardens opened in 1976, and Cockington is their surname, the surname of the family who own it. The other one that could have posed a potential problem, Beaconscott Model Village in Buckinghamshire in 1929. Wrong to mistrust the Hive. They did know plurality, 40% getting the right answer, and if you gave me B, 13 points to you in the Hive. Very well done. Bad decisions being made on that phase, but never fear, we've got plenty of points in the bank. Let's see what is going on with the Hive scores at the end of phase 4. A few 1 points. Hud's getting a couple of them there. Innes managing all 3. Well done there. Curse Toucan, though, taking the lead. Another one with all 3. Only 2 people getting all 3 in that phase. Taking the lead with 104. Lupine in second on 96, and it's Sotley currently sat in third, 2 points ahead of Claire on 74. Claire on 72 and Shapes 2 behind that on 70. Pretty close on that race for third place there between Sotley, Claire and Shapes, but of course it depends how much you know compared to everyone else, and the scoring in the final phase for the Hive is exactly the same. Medals available, but Garrett, your final jackpot tonight is 540, and that is the end of phase 4. Bit of a change of pace there.
A little bit. I mean, it's another emergency stop to add to the night.
Yeah, possibly. Well, we couldn't get them all right. There'd be nothing to improve upon for the next time. But still, very good effort. 540 amassed in your jackpot. That is what you have earned. But the question now is, can you keep it? Let's find out as we go to the final phase. That 540 has been divided into 10, 15, 25 and 50%. And those are the values that you could win across 4 more decisions that you have to make. 54, 81, 135 and 270. And at this point, you lose the ability to answer questions yourself and are entirely reliant on the Hive. But it's a little more complicated than that, and we'll get to the nuance of it in just a second. You got 9 questions right over the course of the game, so no matter what else happens tonight, Garrett, we're going to underwrite your total by 90 points. No matter what else happens, you will leave with at least that on the leaderboard. But there's a lot more available underneath. How it works from here, the Hive will be posed 5 questions, and they'll get 5 options for each of them. The first question will be a new question that nobody has seen before other than myself and Bitter Otter, the pack writer. The other 4 questions will be the 4 questions that you rejected from the boards in each of the 4 phases, but in a random order. Your job here, Garrett, is to place each of the subsequent questions relative to the answers that have already been given in terms of how many of the Hive got it right as a percentage. So if the first question comes out and 50% of the Hive get it right, the next question you've got to decide have more than 50% or fewer than 50% got it right. It gets harder as it goes on, but the rewards also get bigger. You happy with the rules?
Yeah, historically I've been bad at guessing these percentages when I've been playing along at home.
Okay.
So, let's see how it goes.
Let's see if the magic's in the hot seat. Very best of luck to you. Hive, we're all eyes on you now. Here comes the first question. It's a brand new question, 5 options available, and here's the question. Which of these undersea creatures was discovered the most recently? Blobfish, yeti crab, sea pigs, dugong, anglerfish. And I've just realised something. With apologies in the Hive, and apologies for how this is going to throw the game, but this question was phrased inside out. The question should have been which was discovered earliest. That's how the answers have been arranged on here. And that is my bad. When the pack came in, there were some issues with the ordering of the answers, and I've reordered them in the wrong way round. Let me unmute the chat so everyone can shout at me. Yeah, this is backwards. So take that into consideration. Yeah, thank you, Topper. Take that into consideration when you're making your decision. That the Hive were looking for the creature discovered. We could still make it work, to be honest. The Hive were trying to answer the most recently, but the correct answer is going to reflect the furthest back. So it's a little bit academic in a way, because you don't actually have to answer the question. Which do you think is the most recent out of those?
I would not have a clue, so I would be guessing the same, whether I was thinking earliest or latest, probably. But I'm gonna just pick Yeti crab out of the air.
Okay, the correct answer is, if I focus on the right window and not on Chrome, that's the oldest. The correct answer was actually Yeti crab. The Yeti crab was discovered in 2005. The dugong was discovered in 1776. Very many apologies that question was phrased upside down. Now, it's going to affect, obviously, your scores in the lobby game, and anyone who did give me Yeti crab, and I won't tell you the percentage just yet, I'll tell you in just a minute, should have got some points, but won't have done. As it happens, it's a bit academic, because the number of players who got that one right is... none. Nobody got that backwards, upside down question right, so it just says percentage. It should probably say
not
0.
Not a number percentage.
Not a number percentage. That's a bug, because that's never happened before. So, yeah. There should be a 0 in front of that. That is 0%. So, 20 points in the Hive to absolutely nobody. I fixed it for rounds 1 to 4, because it's happened there, but it hasn't happened in the final phase before. So, yeah, so if you are among the 21% who gave me B Yeti crab, my apologies to you. You are owed some free points, but obviously I haven't got a way of actually... In fact, I have got a way of vetting that, but I can't edit points. I can tell you, you can have extra kudos. I'll give you extra kudos. Jers said B, Lupine said B, Tadaru said B, Itzotli said B, and Ida Withy said B. I think that is all of the readout from the last one. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 18, 19, 20, yeah, 21. So, no, there were, 19 players. So that's about right. It looks like it was Jers, Tadaru, Itzotli, Ida Withy, Lupine all said B. I could potentially adjust points, but I'd have to work it out. So I might just give you some kudos. Lupine, if you're 15 points shy of winning, then I'll give you a gold medal. So, 0%. So that gives us a nice easy start for the next question, presumably, Garrett. Sorry, just to bring it back to the game and not my my failings as a proofer. Shall we have a look at the next question?
Yes.
For 54 points, here is question 2. Which of these books is the oldest? Oh, it's put the 0 in now. That's good. Goodnight Moon, Little Bear, Winnie the Pooh, Corduroy, Paddington Bear. Time. Are you familiar with any of these books?
Yeah, a little bit. I've read Winnie the Pooh. I know Paddington Bear. I feel like I have at least heard of Little Bear. The other two I'm less familiar with.
Okay.
But luckily, this is the easiest decision I'm going to have to make all night.
It really is. I mean, RE the answers, if you were going to guess at one of them, what would you say?
I think I would probably have to say Winnie the Pooh out of those. I feel like the other ones are going to be newer kids' books. I know A.A. Milne is definitely a further ago writer. So
that's my ago, yes. Yeah, you'd be absolutely right. Winnie the Pooh was the... Oh, excuse me, furthest back there. Let's just bring up my notes on this question because it was further back in phase number...
2?
Was it phase 2?
I think. 2 or 3.
It's not 2. There we go, phase 3, yeah. Winnie the Pooh 1926, Goodnight Moon 47, Paddington Bear 56, Little Bear 57, and Corduroy in 68. So, big decision here, Garrett. Do you think more or less than nobody got that right?
I mean, if it is nobody, then I will still, I think, get the points.
You
for
still get the
choosing
points
B.
either way, yeah. So
let's
are
go
you going to
with
go
B,
B?
please.
I thought you might. How many of you said Winnie the Pooh? 57.9%, so it would have been correct even if we'd had the correct 21%. I can't actually edit that 0 into a 21, which is what it should legally be, but it gives you a bit of an advantage here. 57.9%, very well done. If you did get me C, Winnie the Pooh, 9 points to you in the Hive, and Garrett, that's another 54 points added to your total. Good start, but we've now got one which is just over halfway, which is going to make things very interesting. We're going to go on to the next question. 81 points at stake if you can give me a right answer, and here it is. Hive, over to you. Which of these trophies is the largest by mass? Kentucky Derby Trophy, Webb Ellis Cup, the Stanley Cup, the Papa John's Trophy, the America's Cup. Time. So another sport question. You familiar with any of these?
I could probably guess some of the sports that they relate to. I think Kentucky Derby is going to be horse racing. Webb Ellis, I think, is tennis. This America's Cup. Oh, I don't know, actually. I was kind of torn between either golf or sailing, but maybe the Stanley Cup is that other one of those.
Stanley Cup's golf, I think. America's Cup is... I haven't got a link to that one. But can I glean America's Cup history facts? What about the Papa John's Trophy?
Never heard of it.
That's the English Football League Cup. So formerly the Coca-Cola Cup and the Worthington Cup and the Carling Cup at one point as well, I think. Currently sponsored.
I might have recognised any of those, but not recent sponsorships.
Well, if you were gonna punt at something, what would you say?
Well, that's the thing, right? Regardless of knowing the sports, I wouldn't. I think I might think the Football League Trophy was larger, because I think I remember seeing that. But I'm just expecting people not to really have a clue about this. So
Webb Ellis's rugby Claire is telling me in chat, and it's sort of saying no different football trophies. So it disapproves of this question. What would you have said? What would you have said if you were punting?
I would probably have gone for the Stanley Cup.
Which would have been wrong if that affects your decision either way. The answer is D, the Papa John's Trophy. So how many of the Hive do you think got that? Less than 0, more than 58, or somewhere in between?
This is firmly in B category, I think. I think it's not going to be... I don't think size of trophies is that common knowledge.
Let's find out. We're going to lock it in B?
Yes.
For 81 points. How many of you said D? Fairly easy decision. This error has worked in your favour because you've got one round in lieu. Yeah, 21.1%. 15 players. 15 players getting that one wrong. So 16 points if you did give me D, the Papa John's Trophy. Papa John's is 25.4 kilos. The America's Cup is 14.9 kilos. The Kentucky Derby Trophy is 1.58 kilos. The Webb Ellis Cup, 4.5 kilos. And the Stanley Cup, 15 kilos. I know I didn't do those in order, but my factoids aren't in... Sorry, my citations aren't in order either. Another 81 points to you there, Garrett. Very well played, and more points going out in the Hive. 16 if you did give me a correct answer. 135 at stake, and now it is going to start getting a little bit trickier. Let's go to the next question. You're up to 225 so far. So our musical instruments. Which of these instruments is the holiest, i.e. has the most holes? Treble recorder, diatonic harmonica, oboe, ocarina, tin whistle. For half a second I was worried no one was going to answer in the Hive because that crashes the game at the moment. 20 players have attempted it. You're up to 225 so far, which is a pretty good score. We'd love to add another 135 onto that total. How's your musical instruments knowledge?
I think I would be reasonably confident about this one. I think I was worried with the 21.1% because that's my like even guess answer. That's my like 1/5 answer. But this one, an ocarina has got, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 holes. A tin whistle, I would imagine, has 1 or 2, depending whether you count the one that you blow into.
No, we're not counting that one. Holes on the instrument.
Well, I think it's the question of how many holes does a pair of socks have. I think that the correct answer here is the diatonic harmonica. I'm imagining that means the harmonica with 2 rows of holes. And I think that's going to be more than an oboe or a treble recorder has. So I would say diatonic harmonica.
You'd be wrong.
Oh.
The diatonic harmonica has only got 10 holes. It's going to bring up a picture of it. It is the conventional mouth organ that you blow into, but it only has 10 holes on a diatonic harmonica. The oboe, you might not think it's got many holes, because it's all covered in keypads, but underneath those keypads there are 23 or optionally 24 holes. The ocarina has 12, diatonic harmonica has 10, the recorder has 7 or 9 if you include the 2 at the bottom as 2 different holes, and the tin whistle only has 6. So oboe is the answer we wanted there. Now, you were fairly confident it was diatonic harmonica. Has that changed your decision about how you think the Hive have done?
Well, I also got every other number I guessed completely wrong. So
I'm sorry.
it's luckily I'm not answering that question. But I think the question is: do more than random chance know it, and do less than 3/4. Oh man, my maths is not good at this time of day. Know it, and This is what has always tripped me up on this guessing stage in the past, because I think surely 60% of people won't know that, and they often do. But I'm just going to stick to my instincts and put this in the C category.
So you think more than 21%, but fewer than 58?
Yes.
Okay, we'll lock in C. How many people said C, oboe? I'm afraid the Hive have let you down, Garrett. Only 5%. Just one player knew that was oboe. Unfortunately, you don't get the 135. It's the wrong decision. Plurality answer there was actually B, the diatonic harmonica. 55% went for diatonic harmonica. Same as you, but unfortunately not the right answer. Oboe, oh no, says Topper. Indeed so. So, we don't get that 135, but there is still 270 available for this last question. You've got a decent spread of options between 0, 5... To be fair, that 0 would have been 21.1, so it would have been the same thing anyway. So in that respect, it doesn't make that much difference to your potential outcome. 0, 5, 21.1 and 57.9. That's where you've got to place this final question. Let's give it to the Hive for 270 points. The final question of the night is... Which of these countries has the most bordering countries? That staple trivia that you talked about earlier, Garrett, is it going to pay off? Lesotho, Paraguay, South Sudan, Andorra, Kyrgyzstan. And there's time. I'll unmute chat for the final time. 18 players have attempted. So, what do you think?
So this would not be my question, but I'm actually with this board, I'm quite happy to see this come out. Like, unlike the last question, I don't think these answers would trip people up. I can see like people falling into the same trap as me as thinking of the harmonica. I wouldn't necessarily expect that to happen with this.
Okay.
So, thinking about these countries at all, I know that I think Andorra, as a kind of tiny state, is either completely contained or it's only going. No, it's 2. It's on the France-Spain border, I think. And then of the others, I really wouldn't know. I don't think Paraguay would have that many borders, but I get my South Americas confused. Yeah, I would probably go with Kyrgyzstan.
It's not Kyrgyzstan. The answer is South Sudan. I can tell you at this point, because it's not going to affect the results because the Hive answers are locked in. Kyrgyzstan has 4, and it's the only one I didn't have citations, didn't have written down what they are, but they are Kazakhstan, China, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. The one with the most up there is actually South Sudan, as it's highlighted just there. There are 6 countries that border South Sudan: Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, Central African Republic, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Paraguay has got 3: Bolivia, Brazil, and Argentina. Andorra, excuse me, as you pointed out, has got 2: France and Spain. And Lesotho is entirely surrounded by South Africa, so just the one bordering country. So, you thought it was Kyrgyzstan, but the question is, what do the Hive think?
Yeah,
Where
and
do
now
you
you've
place
read
this?
now you've read those numbers out. I'm less confident where this is going to sit, because, like, having read them out, I would have thought, actually, okay, Kyrgyzstan over in Asia probably doesn't have that many. Lesotho, now you say it, I can imagine. I think I've heard of it being contained, so I would think people would know that. So the question is, would people go with Paraguay or South Sudan? And maybe 2/3 people would. I think it's not going to be too far off of 58%. But I am going to go on the high side. I'm going to say E.
You think more than 58% got the answer South Sudan?
Which is something I wouldn't have said until you read the numbers out, and then I thought, maybe. But yeah, let's go crazy.
Okay, we're locking E, and let's find out how many people in the Hive said C, South Sudan. Way off.
Oh, wow.
Only 11.1% gave the correct answer. I think that's just 2 players gave us South Sudan for 17 points. Very well done. If you did give me C, South Sudan in the Hive, 17 points going to you. Yeah, it was 11.1% went for South Sudan and Paraguay. Nobody went for Lesotho. Just 1 player, 5% went for Andorra, and 72% went the same way as you and went for Kyrgyzstan. So at least you were in communion with the Hive, but unfortunately didn't settle on the right answer. But, oh, what a shame, missing out on the 135 and the 270. But you did do a super job not missing a beat for the first 9 questions, and you got the first 2 in the final phase, which gives you a jackpot tonight of 225 points, and we will add that to the leaderboard when the game ends. Garrett, it's been a wonderful debut. It's been splendid having you here. Thank you so much for joining me. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Just before you go, I'm sure you'll want to see how the Hive got on and what the final scores are, and whether Lupine's going to have my legs broken for denying him his 15 points. Let's find out how you got on in the Hive on the final phase. Topper just getting the 1, Huds and Samps just getting the 1, SM just getting the 1, M Clemson getting 2, Jers and Arun getting 1,
Wow.
Innes getting 2, Jack getting 3, Claire and Itzotli getting 2, and Lupine getting 1. And look at this, Lupine, you have won it by a nose anyway. The 15 points didn't make a difference. You have won by a single point, 105 points, and Lupine adding another gold medal to his cabinet. Curse Toucan picking up the silver there with 104, and it's Sotley getting the bronze with 99. Although, did Sotley get that question right? Did Sotley say B? Sotley did say B, so Sotley should technically have another 15 points if we're going to play that. If we're going to play that game, yeah, Sotley asking for his 15 points. I mean, we did say we'd honour it. There's spilled milk under the bridge. He doesn't care. Sotley's happy with his bronze. Okay. Yeah, it's just one of those things. That's just me missing the question and just putting it in the wrong order. But if Sotley, you take a bronze, and thank you for your humility and your good sportsmanship there. Garrett, it's been great having you. It's been wonderful chatting with you here, and I do hope you'll come back for a future game. That is going to be the end of the Hive, but do take care of yourself. 225 to you, very well played, and thank you for playing.
Thank you.
Odd Garrett there with a splendid debut in the Hive, and 225 points. That will be going on to the leaderboard, and well done to our medalists as well. And can I just take the opportunity at this point to give a massive thanks to Bitter Otter. I did say I thought it was airing on the hard side. I thought it was quite hard, but actually it came out quite well. There's lots of high scores in there and lots of doing well. Wasn't a particularly brutal final, has to be said. Highest number of points there was 3 from Jack Wilford. But round of applause for Bitter Otter, and so only the second pack written here for the channel, and I think they've done a really good job with that. So lots of fun and lots of good discussion as well. That's what this game is supposed to do. Generate lots of nice discussion. And that, on that note, is going to be the end of the stream. It's been a long one. We've been going for 4 hours now. I haven't done one of these for a while, but just the way it goes sometimes. I'm going to try and speed things up, but the Hive is quite a consuming game. And before anyone asks, no, there will not be spontaneous spotlight. Let's see if there's anyone to raid, and then I'll just do announcements at the end of the night. Is Bricks still going? Bloody hell, Bricks. He was streaming before I started. Is he still going? Is he still going? He is still going. He's well into a run. We're going to raid Ruffle Bricks. He's my Worms Armageddon speedrunner. And we are going to say hashtag spilt milk under the bridge. And go and watch Margin Call. It's a great film. Now, what is going on the rest of the week? Well, our great friend Bash, or Mummy Groin, that's also fine as well. Ash the Bash is here with the breakaway final tomorrow from 8 PM over on his channel, followed by All Clued Up, and he's back with some Outright on Friday. I love me a bit of Outright, so do make sure you tune in for those. Topper's going to be here on Sunday with more Moneybags episode 2. So our good friend Topper, do go give him a follow. There are the Moneybags, so make sure you give Topper a follow. Always good yarn over on Topper's channel. Go check out some Moneybags. That's Sunday evening at 8 PM. As for me, I've got a couple more streams this week. No more Face Off until next Tuesday now. But on Thursday, we are going to be playing Danger Zone by Mrs. Flush. I need to coerce her into finishing the pack, and possibly I might be assisting writing that as well. But it's Danger Zone this Thursday, principally written by Mrs. Flush, probably proofed, and a couple of editions by me. That's here, Thursday, 8 o'clock PM BST. And of course, I'm going to be back on Saturday as well. We've got Plinko by Natter, Cryptex by Apodo, and Spotlight on the agenda. So Saturday will be a little bit of a shorter stream by the looks of it. Cryptex and Spotlight, and some Plinko to start off. Next Tuesday, if you're just here for the Tuesday stream, we've got, not sure at the beginning, but we've got The Abyss by It Sotley, more Face Off, and Risky Business is coming back by Lupine. That's next Tuesday, so make sure you come along for that. All of the things going on, as ever, all this information and more can be found in the Discord server, so do come and join us if you're not there already. It would be great to have you there. And that is going to be the end of the night. It's been a splendid night, action-packed night, lot to get through, but I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I've certainly had a good time. I am very, very warm. We're going to go and raid Ruffle Bricks and say either spilt milk under the bridge or Mummy Groin, whichever you prefer. Until next time, be absolutely splendid and marvellous and wonderful and safe out there. You have been watching Game Night with me, Royal Flush, and until Thursday evening, take care, peace out, and good night.
You'll regret that.